Dude, America first! America first! Get that through your head! Dude, America first! America first! You heard that before? What? America first! America first! What the hell, man? Dude, America first! America first! To all of you, let me explain one damn thing. America, America, America. Dude, you understand? America, America, America. My point is America's first. America, America, America. What the hell, man? Globalists, no! Goblins, no! This is it. Everybody get ready! America first! America first! Get that through your head! Dude, America first! America first! You heard that before? What? America first! America first! Get that through your head! America first! America first! He trolled him. He baited him. He trolled him. He baited him. He trolled him. He baited him. I wish I was that smart. See, that's the Trump dimension. That's the Trump dimension. He trolled him. That's the Trump dimension. He baited him. That's the Trump dimension. He trolled him. That's the Trump dimension. It's incredible. That's the Trump dimension. He trolled him. That's the Trump dimension. He baited him. I wish I was that smart. See, that's the Trump dimension. It's Trump. The plan of Trump. And thus, by extension, Trump. Trump just trolled you. But that's okay. It's Trump. The plan of Trump. And thus, by extension, Trump. I don't want to see him kissing goblins, ingratiating goblins, in bed with a goblin. I don't want to see him kissing goblins, succubus with goblins, ingratiating goblins, in bed with a goblin. I don't want to see him kissing goblins, ingratiating goblins, in bed with a goblin. I don't want to see him kissing goblins, ingratiating goblins, in bed with a goblin. Dump it. Charging into a goblin's nest, some goblin vomit and slop and blood on it. Especially up to his ankles. Trump charging into a goblin's nest, some goblin vomit and slop. Goblin vomit and slop. I'm not expecting him to not get dirty slop. Kissing goblins, ingratiating goblins, succubus with goblins, in bed with a goblin. Kissing goblins, ingratiating goblins. I just want to catch him in bed with a goblin, in bed with a goblin, in bed with a goblin, in bed with a goblin. I just don't want to catch him in bed with a goblin, bed with a goblin, bed with a goblin, bed with a goblin. And they tell the trendies how the trendies go, rip me off. Get into it. Jump up and down. Going, I mean, that's what we're dealing with here, and I'm sick of it. And we're not getting what humans always thought was key: the bone broth, 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 the bone broth. Well, now it's the next level of that. It's caveman. But hey, I need a glass of caveman. Caveman. Man. It's better than Ovaltine. Better than Ovaltine. It's just unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Caveman is just over the top what in the world? But now with the milk, I was like, whoa, this has milk in it. Whoa. It tastes like good. Man, this tastes so good. Tastes like the best milkshake ever. It tastes like Ovaltine. It tastes like Ovaltine. It tastes like Ovaltine. Like good. It tastes like Ovaltine. It tastes like Ovaltine. It tastes like Ovaltine. Like good. Whoa.
This is I can say without a doubt, at least in my experience, that this is literally...
This is a super home run available at InfoWarsLife.com, and it supports the broadcast. All right, all the big news straight ahead. Thanks, Buckley.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Tinfoil Tuesday. How are you all doing? I hope you're having a wonderful evening, or whatever time it is in your time zone on this wonderful flat earth of ours. Dodo Positive, thanks for the first time chat, welcome. Let me see if there's anything. Tumak Von Raven, thanks for 10 months. Blackwing Hecty with 30 bits says, I've been playing Bioshock, the first one, great game, for the first time, and it raised a question for me. In a society where everyone is paid in scrip, how does anyone make money? The people working don't make any money because they're being paid with worthless scrip to spend in town stores, but the executives aren't making any money either because nobody has any money to give them. Sure, but they have the power, the institutional power, in that they can tell people what to do because they control the script itself, right? So if you say, I'm Andrew Ryan, and I have the right to distribute script. In this case, it's basically the money for the place. I can say, if you want money, then you need to do things for me. And that's their form of currency, is being able to give people currency and get them to do things. They're the originator of the determinant of value of labor. It would be a little bit like saying, how does the federal government make money? They just make it. They make it, and then they loan it to banks, and then banks use it to send out to make loans so they can make money back. Mix Gothy, thanks for 15 months, as you're wearing my favorite shirt, Hail Satan. Mike made it into the background of a Project Veritas vid. That's a fun cameo. Puka says, hello Hannah, hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing well too. And Tellurian Katrin says, just finished watching the Peter videos you uploaded today. He does not look well. Here's some bits and some hope that he eventually relents on his disavowal of you. I don't expect him to, and that's fine. It's more pure to study a subject from afar than to get up in there, you know? I don't need to be Jane Goodall with conspiracy theorists. I can just look from far away with my telescopic lens. If Peter ever did want to talk again, though, I would. That guy's got a lot of problems. How do I type with the fur ball in the way? I just kind of do this around her. I have a pretty big desk, so there's a lot of room. So what are we taking a look at today? Oh, again, hype trains get us tinfoil armor to protect us from the psycho waves. And get your bingo cards ready, because we're going to be playing bingo today. Nick says, per ASMR, please. I don't know if I can... Here. Rub the soft part, kitty, with your face. 74Quinn74 says, had to have anesthesia today. Sorry, it scrolled up. And I'm chilling at home now, excited for stream. Does anyone have advice for starting low FODMAP diet? Low FODMAP? What's a FODMAP? Okay, I gotta clear off the bingo sheet, I think. Yep. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. All right, let's see. Oh, sorry, Kitty. Turn around. Better. Is the middle space always free? It is. It's a free space. So today we're looking at Peter's newest video that came out today. We're looking at someone who thinks they're going to debunk the germ theory of disease. Patriot Party Podcast is still at it. We have another Q person that we haven't watched before. We have someone who believes in reptilians. They're on to me. Edge of Wonder is back on Rumble now since they got booted off YouTube, and they're talking about time travel again. This is someone accusing Tom Hanks of being a, how do I put this? They're accusing Tom Hanks of doing not so great things with children. This guy talks about the true source of Satanism. And yeah, should be good. Tumach Von... Oh, there's some purrs. Tumach Von Raven, thanks for gifting 2 subs to the community. We're on a hype train. We're at 76% to level 2. Let's try and get to level 5 today. Tea with Goblin says, good morning, Hannah. Morning chat. Tinfoil Tuesday, Wackadoo Wednesday morning for me. Lovely to see you all. Glad you could make it. Food maps with a link. A beginner to the low FODMAP diet. Food is a common... Fermentable oligodemonosaccharides and polyiosis. Wheat, rye, legumes, fruits and vegetables, garlic and onions, milk, yogurt, soft cheese, lactose, various fruits, figs. Oh, that sucks. That's a lot of different foods. Sorry to hear about that. Comrade Devin, thanks for 6 months. Nick says, Edge of Wonder is Falun Gong, aren't they? They are funded by them, yes. Malachi the Evil Wizard with 100 bits says, let's get on track. Can you give your free sub to Sitting Cow 2? Yes, you can. I'll do that in a sec. Remind me if I forget. 74 Quinn 74, thanks for gifting a sub. Lady 8 Jane, thanks for the 5 gifted subs to the community. Procagam, thanks for 5 gifted subs. Variegated, thanks for 100 bits, says, I've begun to look forward to Tinfoil Tuesday so much. Thanks for all the great content, Hannah. Thanks for watching it. The content's only great if you guys watch it. Kirthin with 100 bits. Get Deformed with 100 says, what constitutes the Baja Blasts? Basically, if Baja comes in here and disagrees with a science thing, or anything, I guess, and gets really heated and argues and, like... Basically, if she comes on or something, or even in chat, if she gets really mad and starts sciencing. Spongy Lord, thanks for 4 months, says, hey Hannah, hello chat, hello. Princess Amelia says, I can see forever. And Bumble Homestead, thanks for gifting us up. We're at 67% of level 5 already. We're killing it today. Thank you. Alright, who was I supposed to gift that gift sub to? I already forgot. Sitting Cow 2. That's who it was. Okay, consider your sub gifted. Let me just take Lord Necro Jay-Z's bingo in off the list. Oops, that's Discord. That's not what I wanted. Variegated with 100 bits says, for the train. Thank you. We're at 70% now. Von Tuck says, I heard Ron Watkins has moved on from the Q grift to alien leaks. Is he responsible for Peter and other Q folks being so alien focused? Other Q folks, possibly. Peter's been into the alien thing for a long time, so I don't think he's responsible for Peter in particular. Get Deformed with 400 bits says, more hype. Lily Love Stuff with 30 says, I found a Twitter thread about the government stopping earthquakes, and they're planning a big one soon, and thought of you. Here's my June fact sheet based on all I know about this thing. Seeing that critical subduction zone shutdown and how very evident it is starting to get, I just vastly increased my knowledge of what's going on, and now it's a bit clearer when things will come. Procagom, thanks for another 5 subs. Maria Pete, thanks for gifting a sub. Killed that hype train. We're at 172% of level 5. Thank you very much. I'll suit up soon. Okay, what's this say? Strong shaking in Europe, separate magnitude, 9.7 and 9.9. India, Indonesia, strong shaking in Africa. Estimated time of earthquake between August 2021 and June 2023. The thing that gets me about conspiracy theorists is I really wish they'd learn graphic design. It would make this all so much more palatable, you know? It's always these, like, really austere, obnoxious colors and just, like, randomly placed on maps and graphics. It's terrible. Kirthan with 200 bits says, Steel, I assume, becomes the stream boss. Wagroads, thanks for 30 bits. Procagom says, first time getting to play bingo. Let's go! Did I see this amazing news? And then there's a link. Lucasfilm hires the YouTube deepfaker who put its Luke, Leia, and Tarkin to shame. I did. I was talking. I told Baja about this earlier. That's good for this person. It's always nice when that kind of thing happens and you demonstrate skill on something and you get recognized for it. So good for him. Hydrate. Okay. Kalurian Katrin says with 90 bits, I have to say I'm appreciating your streams more and more. It's super cool how you and Jake have been making the kind of weird nerd cult stuff I like for so long. I still have a chick track to send you, but I had annotated it with your old name, and now it languishes. That's a bummer. But I'm glad you're enjoying the content. Speedy Yoshi says, hey Hannah, any ideas on how to get your mind off something? My friend who I usually talk to every single day, I haven't talked to in 2 months. He lives in Arizona, and last time we talked about it being monsoon seasons and having to drive in on one to get home from work. Just super worried about him. I assume you've tried contacting him? I honestly don't know. That's tough. If you're just trying to get your mind off it, hobbies. Other than that, I really don't know. That's tough. Do 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 2 weeks. That's a little better. God, the reflective lighting always makes me look so... The coloring on my face gets so gross. I still haven't found my other glove. It fell into the void. The vest should be used at construction sites. It doesn't look like this in person. Just for the record, it looks like this on camera, but I cannot see it shining like this. It's an effect of the camera. This is a reflective vest, so like if it was nighttime and you were walking around and someone's headlights hit you, it would shine kind of like this to them in the dark, but like if it's bright out, you cannot see this. You can only see this in the daytime because of the camera. Tinker Taylor, thanks for 10 months. Blackwing Hecty says maybe the aliens took your other glove. Maybe. Be a pretty good move, I guess, to try and silence me. That glove is integral to my ability to debunk conspiracies, so...
Excuse me.
Procagom says, holy bright vest, Batman. Remember that time Alex Jones said he couldn't remember his kid's birthday because he ate a big bowl of chili? Tea with Goblin subs anti-vax COVID denying conspiracy nutcases for your consideration. It's a little long, so maybe a future Tinfoil Tuesday. Alright, thank you. I'll save it under my conspiracy folder. Appreciate it.
From my memory, not what happens. I can't comment on hypotheticals.
Sure. Oh, so if I was to say to you, if somebody was to come along and strike your hand with a hammer, would it hurt? You can't answer that question.
I'm not striking anybody with hammers.
If I asked you if I gave you a big bowl of chili, might it affect your memory? You can't.
Okay, this is after he already made the claims about the chili. Why can't I find the clip of the chili?
Mr. Jones, I'm going to hand you a copy of what I have marked as Exhibit 4. You ever seen that before?
I don't remember.
You're not sure if you've seen this before?
No.
Okay. You'll see up at the top it has a timestamp, 12/14/12.
Yes.
You know that's the date of Sandy Hook, right?
I don't know.
You don't know that?
Is that the date?
You will admit video clip
Training.
difficult emotional reaction.
It was showing
15 fighting on this February 12th.
Interesting sort of head investigation.
ISIS. Did believe that stuff. And then I go back and I've now studied more, actually, the real anomalies.
Why is there not video of the chili thing? God damn it. I want to see the chili thing so bad. Well, that's sad. I guess we don't get to see the Alex Jones chili thing. Is this how bits work? It certainly is. What's that link that wait. It's random. Okay. All right, what are we going to start with? Peter, Germ Theory Guy, Patriot Party Podcast, an election fraud conspiracy theorist, Reptoid Person, Time Travel Guys, Satanism Guy. What are we going to start with? We're going to do Peter. Let's do Peter. All right. It's time to look at our best boy, Peter. Peter, how you doing? You doing good? I hope you are. Let's see what he has to say. I believe today he's talking about the sci-fi concept of med beds, which are basically beds or like little hyperbaric chamber type looking things that you get in and it cures everything. It's basically magic. So let's see what he has to say.
6 years ago, I fell off a balcony and shattered my arm. And as a result, I did so much damage to my wrist that the doctor threw out all the cartilage and just threw it in the trash. And a bunch of bones he threw in the trash and said, "You're gonna have a messed up wrist for life."
Peter has fewer bones than me. I win again. Andrew Batella says, I don't know about anything about Germ Theory Guy, but I bet he wasn't a skeptic of germ theory before COVID. You're probably right.
And there's nothing I
Yeah, back to tanks, basically.
can do about it. Sorry, too much damage. I can't fix it all. And I thought I would be like crippled in my arm for the rest of my life. But then I heard about med beds.
Okay, so this is super sad. I've talked about this before, but I want to reiterate that it seems like the reason, or at least one of the reasons, Peter attaches himself to these conspiracy theories is because he believes that Trump coming back will solve all of his problems simultaneously without him having to actually do anything. Now, in fairness, the problem in this case is a problem he couldn't solve on his own or even with the help of other people. Unfortunately, he had an accident that required medical intervention. They had to take some stuff out of his arm, which sucks. And now, from what I've heard, he deals with chronic pain. Chronic pain is no joke. I would never make light of it. I've known multiple people in my life who deal with chronic pain, and it's awful. I would never wish it on anyone, regardless of, like, what it is, okay? Chronic pain sucks. So Peter, with his other conspiracy theories, Peter, again, is a person who's in debt, who's broke, who doesn't have a lot of career prospects, who doesn't have a lot of expertise in any particular field. He believes Donald Trump is going to come back, reset the economy, make it so people like him have a lot of opportunity and money, erase his debt. That's a big part of certain QAnon people's view of the conspiracy theory, that debt will be erased, which is funny because that's sort of a left-leaning concept, not a right-leaning concept, but, you know, they're a little confused. So he thinks that Trump is going to come in and fix all that, but not only is Trump going to come in and fix all his financial issues, but Trump is going to come back with aliens that are going to solve his medical issues. Very sad, very depressing that he feels the only way his life can improve is by basically a real-life Deus Ex Machina where a political entity along with space aliens come in and solve all his problems for him. It's very sad. Speedy Yoshi says, you have more bones, you say? Is it time to talk about trans bones? The bones. Vontuk says, this dude can't handle fiction existing. How many times has he been taking things from sci-fi and claimed it as real? Andrew Batella says, hey, Peter does have a lot of expertise in their interaction of cannabis and isopropyl alcohol. That's true. And Blackwing Hecate says, bring us the girl, wipe away the debt. Trump, probably.
Which is an amazing technology that's coming out the next few years. Medbeds can regenerate the cartilage and the bones in my arm and cure all diseases and solve all health problems. Apparently, supposedly, allegedly.
Those qualifiers matter.
I'm going to talk about medbeds, when they're going to be released, and why I'm so excited about them. My name is Peter Hanna, and this is Peter's Political Perspective. All right, so let me dive right into it. Click on the subscribe button in the bottom right corner of the screen, and definitely share my videos if you want to, wake people up, and also like it. I really appreciate all the support. Thank you for watching. So let me dive right into it. Medbeds. Medbeds was something that's been floated around the UFO community, alien community. Oh, there's amazing ET technology. Because, if you compare what technology do we have today? Humans today have the technology to 3D print organs and 3D print skin.
Has that left the lab yet? I thought that was, that's something I've certainly heard research about, and I know that I've seen, stuff about that, printing organs and skin, but I thought that was very much still, a in-the-lab thing. They're still developing how they're doing that. They're still developing, here's an ear. I've definitely seen the skin. There's the skin. Amazing technology that someday probably, or at the very least, has the potential to change medicine forever, Not having to do transplants, not having to worry, or still doing transplants, but not transplants from someone else, not having to deal with graft versus host, amazing, amazing stuff, not having to deal with the constraints of the market for organs, which is a gross phrase. But you get it. Someday, quite possibly, that'd be awesome. But you can't just look at a technology like that and immediately extrapolate to an imaginary sci-fi technology. You can in fiction, like Star Trek, for instance. Look at Star Trek. Star Trek is a show in which Gene Roddenberry and the other writers looked at certain technologies of their day and extrapolated out hundreds of years and stuff. And it's fun, right? Not only is it fun, but some of the things they did talk about and did show ended up inspiring people to really make those things. Communicators on Star Trek, TOS. If you haven't seen Star Trek, this is what a Star Trek communicator looks like. It's a flip phone And the people who ended up inventing the flip phone and sort of cell phones as they existed got inspiration from Star Trek and other sci-fi that dealt with stuff like this. That's great. But you can't just say, this technology exists today, therefore it is a certainty that that technology will exist in the future. Like Jules Verne, real good at guesses, real good at extrapolating, but the details were not correct, and not everything Jules Verne said came true, you know? Pyromancer says, why would you need a medbed when dank weed will solve 99% of your problems? Well, Peter believes that weed can cure, like, diseases, but he doesn't think it can, like, regenerate body parts. I don't know. Red Werewolf says, didn't Peter talk about the Nasara conspiracy the other day on his live stream? I feel like he's trying to fill out conspiracy Pokedex. Mike Mac says, Peter thinks he's going to be Uber Jason. Yeah, that did happen in Jason X, didn't it? Yeah.
So what happens if you get that 3D printing technology that can print, skin and organs and make it 1 billion years more advanced? I'm talking about ET technology. Well, what you have is a system called medbeds that apparently can diagnose your body, find out any problem that you have, and then fix it on the spot quite rapidly. These are what people allege that medbeds can accomplish. Now, the full extent of how many health problems medbeds can solve and how fast they can solve and whether the average person like me will be able to afford it,
most developed nations on Earth have figured out universal health care, and you don't think space aliens that have developed miracle sci-fi, bordering science fantasy technology, basically magic, in like Arthur C. Clarke terms. Wait, was that Arthur C. Clarke? Any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic? Am I thinking of the right guy? Yes? Okay, great. So, you think they figured that out, but they didn't figure out that charging people for healthcare is, immoral? That's pretty fucked up. Although, it would explain why they're working with Trump, if they're nationalistic, capitalistic aliens. Oh no, they're the Ferengi! Oh, shit. It's even worse. They're like a mix of the Ferengi and oh god, what's Gul Dukat species called? The Cardassians? I don't remember. I'm losing my Star Trek card right now. Cardassians. They're like a mix between Ferengi and Cardassians. That's horrifying. Guys, we gotta fight the space Nazis.
don't have the answers to all those things, but we do know, as I've heard from
if it turned out Peter was right about one thing, what would you want him to be right about? Honestly, probably the medbed thing, because that would help a ridiculous number of people. And maybe the medbed could, like, completely, maybe the medbed could do my bottom surgery without all the complications involved in regular human bottom surgery. 74Quinn74 says, would it make my boobs regrow? Because I don't want that. I'd hope you could change the settings. Like, don't grow boobs if it's someone who doesn't want boobs. Or give the booba if it's someone who does want the booba. Profane Priestess says, even if this existed, why would it be compatible with human biology? Also, panaceas don't exist, Peter. This is no miracle. The real world is more complicated than that. Oh, I know. I wish he would know. I really, really do. I also find it hilarious that, like, Peter is hoping for this medical miracle, which supposedly would happen probably in hospitals still. Like, where else are you going to put him? But Peter won't even take his own children to the hospital currently in the real world? What's up with that?
3 credible sources, the most credible one being Majestic 12, that medbeds are coming within the decade, which sounds to me like 6 to 9 years. I mean, 3 is my lucky number, so I like to say between 6 to 9 years, which means...
His thought process is always fascinating to me. Why 6 to 9 years? I don't know. I like the number 3. That's not how predictions work. You don't just get to say like, I like the number 3, so it's a multiple of 3.
In 6 to 9 years, available to the public like me.
Pyromancer says, if Peter has been abducted by aliens, both good and bad, why didn't the good ones fix him? Seems like a dick move. Right? Especially since they took his seed to make a star baby. If you're gonna take his cum, at least pay him with fixing his wrist, you know? Lil Kitty Cow, thanks for 13 months. Billy says, good example of medbed can be seen in Elysium with Matt Damon, if anyone's interested. And Tea with Goblin says, my non-binary arse leaping in and out of medbeds on a weekly basis. Chaotic array of ever-changing chest sizes and genitals. I sure hope these things have a decent battery life. And Procagom says, the ghoul old are coming with their sarcophagi. Gold. That's from some series I haven't seen, I'm guessing. Old. Speaking of which, I was thinking about this the other day. I probably have some sci-fi nerds in my chat. I'm a big fan of Star Trek. I've seen every episode of every series of Star Trek at this point. Like, I love the show and I can rewatch it. But I wanted to branch out, and I know there are some other, sci-fi stuff, but I didn't know what to watch first. So, should I go Stargate, Babylon 5, Battlestar Galactica, like that kind of thing, where it's like people in space, in spaceships, doing space stuff. It doesn't have to be, exact. Wow, Baja says Stargate. That's interesting. Have you seen Stargate? I didn't even know if you had. A lot of people are saying Farscape, which I'm not familiar with. Okay. Well, you can watch Stargate sometime, Baja. Freddy in Space 2? What's that? Did I like Lower Decks? I did. B5, but don't forget Farscape. Okay, so the main ones, Farscape is killing it. Apparently I gotta do Stargate. And some people are saying Babylon 5. So that's the order I think I'll... Well, I might do Stargate first, because if Baja's already a fan, then... I've heard Firefly, I know, and Baja's a fan of Firefly, but why do I want to set myself up for that disappointment? Why would I start a show knowing I'll be pissed off because it got canceled? Why would I do that? Tea with Goblin says, Hannah, you'd love Farscape. Jim Henson did the space sitcom with some serious emotional punch. Oh, okay. Mike Mack says, if the alien had a medbed, then why don't they heal his daughter that they experimented on? Oof. Also, if everyone can afford medbeds, what would be the point of a doctor? I mean, at that point, I guess you wouldn't need doctors. I know they did a movie to finish up Firefly, but I thought it sucked. Like, I've heard fans say it sucked. In fact, Baja, didn't you say you didn't like it very much?
I'll be able to pay a fee of like...
It did? Yeah, see, why would I do that,
I don't know, $3,000 or something relatively cheap. This is not...
$3,000. The aliens want 3,000 American dollars for you to use their miracle medbed. What are the aliens going to do with 3,000 American fiat currency dollars? Who knows? Who knows? Von Tuck says, when you get to Babylon 5, Season 1 is rough. Use a viewing guide, then it gets awesome. Also skip Season 5. If I'm gonna watch it, I'm gonna watch it. I can get through some bad stuff if the overarching concepts are good and if the universe is interesting. Like, I've seen Star Trek Next Generation Season 1 and 2, guys. I'm familiar with bad sci-fi. Procagom says, they'll buy gold with the US dollar. They could go into space and find an asteroid full of gold, but they need Earth gold for some reason. Like it's Battlefield Earth with John Travolta. Nick says, same thing God will do with the spaceship. I've actually seen the new Lost in Space. That is alright. I didn't watch season 2, though. I missed your bits. Sorry. With a med bed, maybe you could use CBD as your only other medicine. Maybe. Alright. I'm done with my little tangent about what sci-fi show I should watch.
Not going to be, I would say, a very profitable industry. It'll just be more of a charitable industry.
If it's charitable, Peter, why in the world are they charging you $3,000? That's the opposite of a charity. That's a business. Muddy says, I gotta take depression and stomach meds. If med beds still existed, I would be the first one to try them because I hate having to remember to take them. Right?
But they'll have these med beds. I'll lie down in the med bed. The med bed will diagnose my system, say, oh, look, Peter has missing cartilage and bones in his arm. And somehow, I don't ask me to explain the science of it. I don't know.
Then how are you making the claim that they even exist? Speedy Yoshi says, the aliens promised to give me a med bed. I pulled out my wallet and asked how much they needed. They said, I need about $350. Well, it was about that time that I noticed that the alien was about 8 stories tall and a crustacean from the Proterozoic era. That joke's always funny to me. Dude Man says, Expanse has very realistic space stuff. Vontuk says, the aliens don't need the money, they just don't want to promote communism.
The machine will be able to 3D print bones, 3D print cartilage.
In your body? They're gonna 3D print bones inside of your body. That's rad.
And do surgery all by itself on my arm and fix it up. I won't even have scars.
Peter, could it just give me a sweet robot arm? Because I'll take a sweet robot arm.
On my arm. Because they'll take out the scars and 3D print new skin. And I know this sounds like science fiction, but...
Sounds like science fantasy. In science fiction, usually you give some technobabble explanation of how it works. You haven't even done that.
Again, as I said before, humans already invented the technology to 3D print organs and skin. If you get that same technology and advance it 1,000 years, 1,000,000 years, 1,000,000,000 years, where would it be at? Now, some of my viewers don't believe in aliens, don't believe in ET technology, and so this whole video will just go right over your head. But if you...
I don't think Peter knows what go over your head means. Go over your head doesn't mean you just disagree with someone. Go over your head means you don't understand something. Ironically, the idiom and the meaning of the idiom goes over your head has gone over Peter's head. Fun. Atheist Brony, thanks for 7 months, says, I'm in a really bad mood. Hopefully this will help. I'm sorry to hear that. Andrew Patella says, isn't somehow technobabble enough? No, you gotta have Brent Spiner come out and be like, the nanoparticles infused with the 5D alien energy have allowed them to pull matter from subspace that they can use to construct neo-bio material within the subject's body. Like putting too much air into a balloon. You just gotta make shit up. Pyromancer says, probably by the magic of midichlorians. Blackwing Hackety says, needs more multimodal reflection sorting. You gotta reverse the polarity, you know? That's the big one.
You do believe in aliens, if you do believe in alien disclosures coming, and that after that's going to come all the ET technology that's been suppressed, that we...
Let's check out, real quick, let's check out the bingo card. We, of course, have aliens. I'll give you... Well, no, word salad's like if they say it, not if I'm making a joke. I'm gonna say that's not how science works for the med beds. And I think that's it.
We haven't been able to use.
Where would you get ancient wisdom from? Rats Live on Evil Stars says this is like being able to design a relay and thinking you can make a quantum computer, whatever that means.
You do know there's very likely chance that...
You know what I want someday, guys? Would be a great show? A Mass Effect TV show. It doesn't necessarily have to follow, like, the characters we know from Mass Effect. Like, it doesn't have to be a remake of the games with a live-action Commander Shepard and all them, although that would be fun, too. I'd still want it to be more or less episodic with an overarching arc of stuff, but, like, every episode they go into some other mission and have different things. Each episode the away team is different, just like in the game you can pick your people for the mission. You have episodes that are character-focused, which are like the loyalty missions in the game. They don't have to do that with them, although that would be good, but like some other crew in the Alliance or something. I like the Mass Effect universe. I think that could work on a TV show. Mike Mack says, so how strong will the medbeds be? Will it revive people like in the Star Trek reboot movies series? That's a good question. Like, how dead is dead if you have a medbed? Like, what if you get brain damage? Can it fix your brain? Like, what's the extent? Andrew Batella says the medbed extracts skin, cartilage, and bone from alternate branches of the universal quantum wave function. Also, if somehow by some technology that is completely unrelated to medbeds, your skin, bone, and cartilage gets stolen by other branches of the wave function, it's not our responsibility. That feels like a little Douglas Adams-y. Like, this medbed will give you cartilage and bone and stuff, but also someone else might get yours. It's pretty good. Profane Priestess says, Peter, if aliens exist and they have Clark tech, why would they come to some random-ass planet that still uses fossil fuels? I just don't get it. It makes no sense. P.S. Yes, please give me a Mass Effect show. I even love something animated. Speedy Oji says, only if we get low-angle shots of every single woman during all the emotional scenes. They removed some of that in the remaster, which I think is for the best. Like, I'm fine, and I'm fine with, like, because a lot of Mass Effect has to do with, like, the relationship stuff. It's a big part of the game, at least how people remember it, you know? But, like, Miranda talking about her abusive father and her sister, and the camera just, like, straight up staring at her ass the whole time, is just like, really? Right now is now an appropriate time for fan service? She's talking about child abuse. Muddy says, a machine that steals bones for me? Sign me the fuck up.
That aliens have these extremely advanced alien technologies for healing people. And the most advanced technology they have is something that my viewers have actually heard of a lot. Medbeds. Now, medbeds have been talked a lot about by people who, in the past, they have not shown to be very trustworthy. That's kind of why I've avoided this topic, because people like Simon Parks and Charlie Ward were talking about medbeds, but they turn out to be not trustworthy people. So I didn't really...
As opposed to Peter, who's incredibly trustworthy for reasons. Mike says, would it be easier to create the technology that the Doctor used on a Shielder/me? Let's not talk about the whole Shielder thing. I'm not a big fan of the Shielder subplot. Firemancer says, turns out the aliens are eldritch beings and Peter is a harbinger of that great old one. And Blackwing Hecate with 30 bits says Trump, according to Peter, with a link.
Why won't you die? Nanomachines, son. They harden in response to physical trauma. You can't hurt me, Jack. What did I just say?
What game is this from? Metal Gear Rising? Is that Hideo Kojima? Because that tracks.
Take the topic seriously until Majestic 12 came up and said, yes, medbeds are real, and
I've never played any Metal Gear Solid game. Just putting it out there.
they're coming within.
I do have Metal Gear Solid 5, though, on my game thing. It was like, I think at one point it was the free game of the month for PlayStation, so I downloaded it. I don't think I've played it.
In the decade. Then I was like, okay, well, I better take this topic seriously. So it's coming soon, and the whole point of releasing MedBed, this ET technology that can solve supposedly, allegedly, all health problems, is to make it affordable enough that everyone can access it, like everyone.
$3,000 would not be affordable for a lot of people, Peter. Heck, it wouldn't be affordable for you. You're $60,000 in debt.
And like, in theory, even if you don't have a penny, you'll be able to heal yourself with medbeds. And what's very important to know is that medbed doesn't just heal hardware damage, but also software damage. So let's say you have a...
Like, I probably couldn't afford $3,000 on the spot until, like, the last year. I've gotten to the point where I'm able to save some money, so I have some savings and stuff. But, like, most people, I don't even know if I want to say most people, a good portion of people do not have $3,000 on the spot, even if it's for a severe illness.
Fully healthy body, but really bad PTSD because you were in the army and you had to do some tough stuff. It could heal that as well. So we're talking about a machine that supposedly you lie down. It sounds so crazy, but then again, in the infinite realm of possibilities, aliens do have healing technology. That's a fact.
That statement doesn't mean anything! You can't just say... Well, the infinite realm of possibilities. Okay, Peter, in an infinite realm of possibilities, Joe Biden won the presidency. That's the actual reality we live in. And Donald Trump is not working with space aliens. Princess Amelia says, okay, now it's science fantasy. Now?
And we're going to get it, that's a fact, in the next few years as alien disclosure speeds up. So, as crazy as it sounds, there is a technology where you lie down, there's an AI that scans your body.
Oh, like a generalized medical AI exists now too? Is it voiced by Robert Picardo?
Diagnoses, oh, you have this ailment, you have this disease, you have this type of imbalance, and fixes you.
If there ever were a medical AI and they didn't get Robert Picardo to lend his voice to it, then we failed as a species.
Brings you to full health. On top of that,
it brings you to full health, like we're in a video game and we have a life bar. Like I'm Link and I just cooked a bunch of salmon.
Supposedly, I know it's hard to believe, but this technology can age regress you, which means it can bring your age back 30 years.
Why does Donald Trump look like an old decrepit man then? Because it feels to me like if he's integral to the plan, they should probably stick him in one of those beds, like yesterday. Princess Amelia says, a medbed can heal your broken bones equals science fiction. A medbed can heal your PTSD equals science fantasy. Nick says, so Thanos is short for Theranos. Pyromancer says, I don't see how you would rationalize these aliens with a god existing. And Two-Band says, more Metal Gear Solid nonsense.
His body pierced by a crucifix, Vamp was buried under the rubble for 2 days before he was finally rescued. During those 2 days, he survived by feeding on the blood of his family to quench his thirst. That was how he acquired a taste for blood.
So that's why they call him Vamp.
No. Oh, Vamp isn't for vampire, it's because he's bisexual.
What?
Rumor has it, Vamp was the lover of Scott Dolph, the Marine Commandant who accidentally died 2 years ago. Scott Dolph was also the father of Fortune, the Dead Cell leader.
Fortune's old man? But Fortune and Vamp?
You noticed, eh? Not bad for a rookie.
Right.
As you say, Vamp and Fortune are very close. Not lovers, but very close.
Friends?
No, there's more to their relationship than that.
But Vamp was her father's lover.
Would it have been better if it was with her mother?
Well,
I don't really think they care what you think. Focus on the mission.
by the way, have you ever met the guy before?
No.
But he seemed to know you.
Right. Well, No, it can't be.
What?
Nothing. I told you the Dead Cell is a group of madmen. I wouldn't take anything they say very seriously.
I don't understand, Hideo Kojima. Mike Mack says, Peter, what about third world countries? How much will it cost for them? Pretty sure if aliens wanted to help mankind, they'll likely do it for free. Also, wouldn't Medbed go against God's plan? Blackwing Hecate says, I forgot, that's why Vamp was called that. Von Tuck says, with how our species is doing, if we have medical AI, it'll be the voice of Ethan Phillips. Sarah Mack says, most Americans can't afford a $400 emergency, and I believe that's a pre-COVID stat, so no, most people cannot afford a $3,000 miracle. Speedy Oshi says, there was a Metal Gear game where a woman literally has a bomb in her vagina. I don't understand why people think Hideo Kojima is a genius. He just seems weird. But whatever.
Up to 30 years, I've been told. Now, the full extent whether this medbed technology can cure all the diseases, or whether it can fix bones and cartilage, whether it can make a 50-year-old look like a 20-year-old, all that remains to be seen. We don't know for sure. A lot of this is just speculation, rumor mongering, and
you don't say.
Hopium. But the technology does exist. This is a real technology. It's not a big leap to think that this technology can exist. You just have to add, 1 + 1 is 2,
1 + 1 is 2, therefore impossible science fantasy technology exists. Easy as that. Muddy with 50 bits becomes a stream boss.
Do we have the technology to 3D print skin and organs? Yes. Okay. What happened to we advance that thousands of years, or a million years, a billion years? Would it be able to turn into this medbed type technology? Yes. So then the question is, do aliens exist, and would they be giving us this technology to help us heal? Yes. The answer is yes.
Again, he's just... I'm not going to pretend I'm, the best person in terms of, laying out a logical argument where all the premises are sort of self-evident or provable, and then following those to their logical conclusion. But this isn't even an attempt. This is just Peter being like, I want this thing to be true, so it's true. It's terrible. Andrew Patella says, 1 follows 0, 2 follows 1, 3 follows 2, 4 follows 3, therefore by the principle of induction, medbeds. That's how math works, right? Blackwing Hecate says, Hannah, do you believe love can bloom on the battlefield? I don't know what that means. Do I think people could fall in love on a battlefield? I guess. Two-Man says, because his games, while extremely ridiculous, have some really good writing in spots, and he is great at directing scenes. E-Tune says, this video has the same energy as that South Park episode where the cure for AIDS was injecting yourself with a buttload of cash. And J Pizza, thanks for 8 months, says, quickly approaching stream, baby.
Again, when Trump was asked about Area 51, he said, this is a very interesting topic. He didn't say aliens didn't exist. He said, this is a very interesting topic, and we'll be releasing more information soon. So he's admitted that aliens exist.
That's kind of an interesting go-to move for Trump, is if he doesn't know what someone's asking, or he doesn't know what to say about it, he'll just say, that's a very interesting topic, we'll get back to you on that. And then they never do. It's a deflection tactic.
So aliens exist, they're helping us. If they're helping us and they exist, then they have this healing technology called medbeds, and they're been trying to give it to us. Now, there's a lot of technologies that the cabal has been suppressing or not, electricity, free energy.
I like that in Peter's worldview, even though Obama's, first term goal was expanding healthcare for people, and Republicans were the ones pushing against it, apparently, on the sly, Obama was being offered a medical miracle machine from aliens, and he was like, no. I'd rather work with the Republicans.
electricity that's wireless, a whole bunch of technology that Tesla invented. So much great technology.
Why do these people ignore Trump's past like it was all lied to lead up to this moment? Because he has to, because he's desperate and he needs to believe that this amazing event's going to happen that's going to fix his life. It's the only hope he has. He feels hopeless otherwise. Andrew Bertella says, oh god, he's also a perpetual motion guy. Laws of physics be damned.
To free the world from diseases and health problems and being debt slaves and having to pay so much for energy and electricity. All these technologies have existed, but they've been suppressed by the cabal, who've not allowed us to use them. So I'm very excited for MedBeds. It's coming soon. If you have any questions about whether it can heal this or this or this or this, let me know in the comment section. I'll be happy to answer all your MedBed questions. As I said, what we do know for a fact is MedBeds do exist. The full extent...
Again, you can't make that claim, Peter. You do not know that for a fact.
Of what they're able to heal.
Has Peter not become a flurfer? He is not. He is not a philanderer. Not yet, at least. TubeMan says, here's a speech from Metal Gear Solid 2 about internet censorship. I'm not... How long is this?
How can anyone hope to eliminate us? As long as this nation exists, so will we.
Cut the crap! If you're immortal, why would you take away individual freedoms and censor the net?
Jack, don't be silly.
Don't you know that our plans have your interests, not ours, in mind?
What?
Jack, listen carefully, like a good boy.
The mapping of the human genome was completed early this century. As a result, the evolutionary log of the human race lay open to us.
Okay, see, I just think this writing is terrible, and I can't. No. Von Tuck says, to be fair, with the liberal obsession with bipartisanship, I could kind of see Obama choosing working with Republicans over miracle beds, especially first-term Obama. Fair. Empty the Tank says, Lisa, in this house, we obey the laws of thermodynamics. I remember that.
That is the part that we don't have the details about. But I think it's fair to say that the general consensus is that a medbed can solve all health problems. All. The entirety. Like, oh, you're aging too much? Well, we'll make you young again. Oh, you got a disease? We can cure it. You're missing a leg? We'll regrow the leg. Like, any health problem.
If introducing medbeds mean Donald Trump gets to live forever, I think I can hold off for another 20 years.
Oh, you have horrible PTSD, you have Alzheimer's, it's problem solved. So
I'm just imagining a world in which all the things Peter believes are true, and it's like this dystopian nightmare where soldiers are like told and forced to do horrible, horrible things, like wiping out Democrats and liberals and basically anyone who isn't a Trump supporter, and they have horrible PTSD from the war crimes they've committed. And then they go every day into their medbed and it wipes their, like, PTSD away. Like, yes, nothing but good feelings about the genocide now. That's a book. Someone write that book. I don't know.
This is extremely, it's the most, one of the most.
Sarah Mack says, imagine if medbeds just diagnosed literally everything wrong with you and then just left you with that knowledge.
Might be tied with one other technology I'm excited about, but it's practically the most exciting technology, exciting thing that's going to come out next 10 years. I mean, the only thing that can even be more exciting than that is like traveling through the stars, which should be available in the next 15 years. But I'm so excited for this technology. Are you guys excited for medbeds? Let me know what you think of medbed in the comment section. I'm so excited it's coming within the decade. I can't wait to fix this arm.
It's so sad. He really, really believes this is going to happen. And his arm's going to be fixed. Sad. Mike Mack says, Trump becomes Time Lord Victorious or Kang. I don't think Trump is intelligent enough to qualify for either of those comparisons. Profane Priestess says, that exists, Hannah. It's called We Happy Few. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Pyromancer says, does he realize that with how he described medbeds that we'd be functionally immortal? I think he does. Variegated says he's talking about this like some sad guy at a shareholder meeting.
It's been tough being a father, and I can't, I'm the strong guy, the father, the man who's supposed to lift the big boxes and lift these heavy things. But
oh, good. Toxic masculinity, too. Good job, Peter.
reality, if I do, I end up in a lot of pain. Even driving gives me a lot of pain in my wrist. So I'm really looking forward to a day where I can like pick up my children without being in pain. Or
again, this is the most depressing thing ever. This is so sad. I feel for Peter on this one. I don't think he's a good dad, but like that sucks. I can't even imagine anytime you want to like pick up your kids feeling pain because of it.
Lift heavy boxes or move furniture without being in pain. Do all these things that a man would want to do without being in so much pain. I'm so looking forward to it. As for how...
I don't even want to think the theoretical politics of a world where immortality is a thing. I don't remember who said this, but I think they said something along the lines of humanity progresses one funeral at a time. Like, can you imagine if we lived in a world with immortality and literal slave owners from, like, the history still existed today? Do you think their politics would have changed very much? No, they'd still be huge pieces of shit. Like, a lot of things humanity has done and progressed on are because younger people have come up with new ideas and older people have died. I don't think that would be a very good society. There's a reason that, like, Vulcans and elves in fiction are usually depicted as being a fairly stagnant culture.
How this happened, I decided to climb down a balcony.
I've not watched Altered Carbon, no.
While after it had rained, and I slipped, and I was like 15 feet high. And I was trained that if I fall, to block my fall with my hand to protect my face. So I did do that. I fell from 15 feet.
Multiple people yesterday said that was a bad idea, and whoever told him that is stupid.
I was hanging up from the tips and I slipped, and all the weight fell on here, which protected my face, which is good, but it was so much weight over this that I basically shattered a bunch of pieces of bones into fragments, and they basically took out a bunch of these bones here, threw them in the trash, all the cartilage, threw it in the trash, and they're like, look, your wrist can move, but that's all you can expect from it, and there'll be pain in there for life. So I'm so excited for MedBed coming out. It's going to save the day, it's going to heal me, and it's going to be at an affordable price. It's going to be able to heal all of us. And honestly, that is really what Earth needs right now. With all the PTSD we're about to undergo and all the damage we're about to experience and like all the trauma Earth is about to go through, what's really going to help humanity heal are med beds, because
Peter recognizes that the actions he wants to happen will induce mass PTSD in a majority of the population, but he still thinks it's a good idea.
Just to get through that, I think a lot of people are going to die in the next few years, and at a minimum, there's a lot of trauma involved in all those deaths, and the med beds will be able to deal with our PTSD, our anxiety, be able to heal us, bring us to full health. If everyone on Earth has access to this med bed technology and we are mentally healthy and physically healthy, there's nothing Earth cannot accomplish. At that point, we are unstoppable and we can accomplish anything. So, very amazing technology, will be released soon. I'm super excited about it. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Thank you for supporting me. You can donate with the links below, Venmo, Cash App, PayPal. I really appreciate the donations for keeping this channel chugging along. Thank you so much, everyone. God bless you. God bless America, and enjoy the show.
Peter's never going to learn. This is going to be the rest of his life. And that's sad. It's pretty sad. I'm curious what the comments say. Speedy Yoshi says, this is what he should have done when he fell.
Land on your bottom! It'll cushion the impact of the fall!
Yeah, I've seen this. The bones come out. Oh no, he's shattered. I feel like there was a different episode where like his leg bones shot up through the top of his head or something. Mike Max says, Peter, that's not a prediction, is a fact, a law of nature. Muddy says, I would love to be immortal, at least until all intelligent creatures die off. It would be my dream to be able to learn new things and see how the universe changes over the years. Andrew says, but will med beds fix your belief in conspiracy theories? Blackwing Haggerty says the similarities between him and Comstock's followers scares me. Let's see what these all say. The top comment says, I feel like this video was to back up his "that's why I drive high with my kids in the car" explanation for Canadian CPS. Honey, I've recovered from cesareans on nothing but ibuprofen. Maybe try to be strong as a mother. Oof. That is, that's a burn. I'm gonna take that one. Good job. Why would aliens spend years developing... It's not Canadian. They did say Canadian CPS. Peter's in Philadelphia, not Canada. Daryl says, why would aliens spend years developing technology for humans when they don't even interact with us? Can't wait for the med beds, Peter. A good friend was diagnosed with brain cancer. He needs a med bed soon. Again, very depressing. Don't lie to people and promise them miracles that don't exist. Yeah, Pennsylvania. What did I say? Hey Peter, Majestic 12 would be a great name for a cannabis strain. It would need to be sativa for daytime, and later in the evening it would be time for some MK Ultra. That's actually true. Majestic 12 would be a good name for a weed strain. These beds might be important, especially for those people who took the COVID-19 vaccine. 100% BS. Is a med bed like Odin sleep? Peter, please get real help. I wouldn't hinge my future of my health on a possibility. Yeah. Messed up. So that's what Peter's up to. Holding on to dreams that are not going to come true. Deep state on the bingo card. And I think that's it. Am I going to comment on the vid? What vid? So that's what Peter's up to. We're done with Peter for now. Does vampires count? No, he didn't mention vampires at all. Why would vampires count? He didn't mention vampires. From the videos we watch? No. The Metal Gear Solid clip does not count. It is not part of a conspiracy theory. Mike Mac says, I bet Peter is like this because he can't use his good hand. Oof. The Peter vid just hoping him well and to get help? I didn't see that. Where was that? Never mind. Okay. What do I want to do next? Patriot Party Podcast. What's he up to? Silk Monkey says, I'll always love you, Hannah, for introducing me to Peter because good gravy. That dude is... Yeah, he's something, isn't he? Let's see what Patriot Party Podcast is up to.
All right, I made a mistake, y'all. The Hyde Amendment is needed. Do not repeal the Hyde Amendment. It is to keep, supposedly, foreign... It's allegedly to keep money from being used for abortions. But this is not true, because every year the United States government gives $500 million or $1 billion to Planned Parenthood.
The difference between million billion is a lot. I'm gonna guess it's million if that statistic is even true. Silk Monkey, thanks for 7 months. Variegated with a link for a cleanse for later. I missed bits that said the numerology thing. I'll take a look in a sec. This guy is gross. He's he was a child predator. Numerology is evidence because he said 3 is my lucky number, so 6 or 9 years until these come out. I don't know, that's tough, because he's not really using numerology. He's literally just saying, well, I just like this number. So, Anything with Nathan Thompson? Yeah, actually, Nathan Thompson might be leaving Flat Earth. He still believes it, but he's just not making any money on the grift anymore. So Nathan Thompson is shutting down his website where he sold those pamphlets. And he made an anti-Semitic post. So that's fun. And by fun, I mean awful. I'm glad he's fucking off.
Y'all, you gotta stop killing those babies. If you don't want to have a baby, don't spread your legs.
You're a pedophile. And I don't mean that, like, just as I mean, literally, he was indicted for inappropriate discussions with a 14-year-old, and he's gonna try and moralize to us? Get fucked, you fucking pedo piece of shit.
Don't have sex if you don't want to have a baby, you know?
How about this? Don't have sex with children. How about that?
Quit aborting babies. It's murder, y'all. You're bringing judgment onto our nation from God. You're bringing judgment onto yourself from God.
God's totally cool with gross adult men trying to fuck children, though. That's fine.
Keep the Hyde Amendment. It's on the book saying we're not supposed to give out money for abortions, federal dollars. I asked everybody if they repeal the Hyde Amendment, please boycott taxes, because that's where your money's going at.
That'll go so badly for you. One Speedy Yoshi says, Hannah, God is fine with that. Have you read the Bible?
That's never give up, never give in, never surrender.
Yeah, I guess that's true. If more people are aborted, whose kids is he gonna diddle?
Look, everybody out there, this is Pater Party Podcast. I'm going to put it down to you real hard and real fast. You don't like this podcast? Unsubscribe. I make not a dime off your subscription. If you don't like what I'm saying, block me. So I'll block you. I don't care if you like this channel or not. It's not for your life. It's for my mental health. And so I have a place to talk and rant my anger at the government and how they're fucking us up. Excuse my language, but hey, get the fuck off my channel if you don't like it. I fucking talk. I don't need none of you motherfuckers to watch. I don't give a fuck. You know, I'm fucking tired of your criticism.
What does he think a podcast is? He thinks anything on the internet is a podcast. Andrew Patella says, I'm fine with bringing judgment from God on myself, but why the fuck do my actions bring judgment on an entire country? I thought Lot was saved from the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah. That was a pretty rare instance, though. Look at Noah's flood. He only saved Noah.
Criticism, trolls. If you don't like it, go somewhere else. If you think you can do better, do it. Show us your fucking channel. If you think you can make a better podcast or a better YouTube channel, show me.
Okay, I have one, and I have like 13,000 subscribers, and you have 200, and my other channel has like 150,000 subscribers. So, I win.
There's an old saying that people in Missouri said is, you got the talking part done. You gotta show me, I'm not from Missouri, but you gotta show me you can do better than me. Because you can't, because you're a coward.
No, I gotta comment on this one.
every single one of you out there.
Muddy says any channel, no matter how small, is better than this pedo's. Agreed.
Liberals that don't do a podcast that are criticizing me are a fucking coward. Fuck you, liberals. I don't care if I have any subscribers. I don't care. Y'all want to unsubscribe and quit criticizing me. I'd rather you be gone from my channel than making snotty ass little remarks all the time. You know what? I just had an asshole freaking say, oh, this isn't a podcast, and oh, this isn't the way you're supposed to podcast, it's not long enough, and blah, blah, blah.
It's not a podcast.
Blah, blah. I blocked the motherfucker right now, right before I started this. I don't give a damn, y'all. I don't care. If you guys don't want to support me, don't support me. Don't watch. Don't give me whatever you don't want to give me. I don't care no more. I'm doing this for myself, for my mental health. If I have no views, it's okay. If I have a million views, it's okay. Just keep your damn crass remarks to yourself. I don't want to hear it. If you don't like my podcast, unsubscribe. Make my subscribers go to 0. I don't care. I only care about the people that care about me. There's a lot of people out there that do care about me. I love you, patriots. I just don't care about the trolls. You trolls, go to hell.
Pyromancer says, hey buddy, maybe clean your car once in a while.
Get off my channel and go watch somebody else. I don't need nobody except the ones that like me, the ones that want to support this channel. If you don't like it, if it's not to your if it's not to your standards for what a podcast is supposed to be, if it's not up to your standards,
it's just not a podcast is not a YouTube video. Like, a podcast is typically like an audio show that you can either download on podcasting apps or you can like listen to on Spotify or whatever.
If it's not informative enough, it's not long enough, go find another podcast. Don't complain. I don't care. I'm a one-man wrecking crew. And I ain't wrecking nothing right now because you all are...
What were the details around his indictment? Oh, I wish I could pull up the link right now. I didn't save it, though. And I don't know his legal name. I got it from a subreddit that was talking about him. Basically, he was doing inappropriate messaging with like someone he believed was a 14-year-old. Think sort of a Chris Hansen sting operation where they go online, pretend to be 14 or 13 or whatever, and they talk to creeps and get them to show up. Fella Dude Man says, for the record, we're haters, not trolls. And Pyromancer says, vlogger would be a better way to describe him. Yeah.
Out there blocking me from getting my messages out. So go to hell, trolls. Real patriots, I love you. This is Patriot Party Podcast. Never give up to all these fucking trolls. Never give in to the criticism of the world.
Never give up. Never surrender. Pyromancer says vlogger would be a better way to describe him. Blackwing Hackety says, I can't find another podcast because I'm not interacting with a podcast now.
And never surrender your ideas and what you want to do in life. If you want to do it, you do it. Fight, fight, fight. Don't give up, troops!
All right.
Hey, this is Patriot Party Podcast. I want to know one thing, all you all.
Muddy says, unrelated, but what color are your cats? I want to draw them as dragons. I have a couple emotes, but Lupine is sort of gray, black, and Lupine is white with sort of grayish stuff on her. Yeah, the emotes sort of show what they got going on. Mike Max posted them. Nick says, sir, this is a Wendy's.
Who are the 50% that approve of Joe Biden's handling of the United States government?
I mean, how would I put this? Cass, what did I say? Oh, I called them both lupine. Sorry. Cassia's the white one. like, if I were called for, like, a poll to be like, do you approve or disapprove of Joe Biden? Even though I have problems with Joe Biden and I think he's too far right, I'd probably still say approve, I guess. So I'd be in that group.
Please stand up. Please stand up. We're the real Joe Biden voters who want him there. Please stand up. Please stand up. Remember those Slim Shady? I'm a Slim Shady. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, come on. Come on now, y'all. This is crazy. Is a 50% approval rating? Come on, man. I would love to meet these 50% of people that approve of what's going on. Do you approve of millions of friggin' illegal immigrants coming through our borders?
Yes.
Do you approve of these illegal immigrants
Yeah. Well, no, not that, but that's a complete straw man.
raping your wives and children?
I don't have a wife or children. And again, you were indicted for trying to sleep with a 14-year-old.
Do you approve of these illegal immigrants being shipped to all your states to make the voting for our guys harder?
You can't vote if you're not a citizen.
Do you approve of all these illegal immigrants taking our jobs?
Yes.
Do you approve of these illegal immigrants freaking having more and more babies and taking our welfare money?
Your welfare money. Yeah, I don't care. People are allowed to have kids. That's fine.
They don't deserve, and taking all of our Social Security and clogging up our freaking social services. Do you approve of?
If they're getting Social Security, that means they're paying taxes into the system because you need to have a Social Security number to even apply for Social Security, which would mean they're paying taxes, which would mean they have a right to Social Security.
This? I don't. Hell, mother, no.
Yeah, you can't get welfare as an illegal immigrant. Has this guy never applied for benefits? You need to prove that you have, like, a Social Security number and stuff.
Do you approve of friggin' having to worry about inflation? It keeps going up and up and up because Biden keeps giving money out and money out and money out, and California keeps giving money out and money out and money out.
Hey, dipshit. Trump also did that, and the Fed was printing a ton of money under Trump, too. We're trying to mitigate the issues of the pandemic.
We gotta stop this giving out money. It'll never. Pretty soon it's gonna cost $40 for a friggin' Big Mac meal. I don't eat McDonald's anyways, but hey, for y'all that want to eat that for human flesh, go ahead. But hey, each to his own, you know. I don't really eat McDonald's ever again because they're made their hamburgers out of human flesh. That's where all the missing kids go.
That's not even economically viable. How many burgers does McDonald's sell a day? How many burgers does McDonald's sell a day? The burger data roughly breaks down 4,500 burgers every minute, 270,000 burgers an hour, 6.48 million burgers a day, 2.36 billion burgers a year! Others have put McDonald's burger sales at 50 million a day worldwide. So how many burgers could you make out of a human body? How many burgers could you make out of a human body? We're gonna math this, kids, okay? Okay? We'll look at the cow figure, and then we'll sort of estimate down, because cows obviously would make more than a person. Presenting our new specialty, the Mick Cannibal. And Muddy says, Okay, sorry. Okay, so you can make, with a cow, 1,264 burgers. Okay? Hydrate. Will do. Let's say with a human child you could make 250 burgers. Complete guess. 250 burgers, okay? So we need... let's see. Let's go with the lower estimate, okay? 6.48 million every day. So... calculator... 6, 4, 8, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay. Divided by 250. Okay. So every single day, McDonald's would have to be using 200... I'm sorry. Every single day, McDonald's would have to be kidnapping and butchering 2 million children. $2.5 million children going missing every single day around the world. Oh, did I put 2 extra zeros? Someone explain if I did the math wrong. With an adult human, you get 75 pounds of meat. Good to know. Empty the Tank says, honestly, imagine being a parent of a missing child and having this idiot suggest they became burgers. Why compound the pain with stupid conspiracy bullshit? OMG, you really added that to your Google history. You put 648 million, not 6.48. Oh my god, you're right. I did. Okay, so sorry, that's my bad. That's 25,920 kids a day. So globally, we would have 25,000, let's round up to 26,000 kids a day missing for McDonald's. 26,000 children a day. How many kids go missing every day? 2,300 children. So somehow, even though only 2,300 children go missing in the United States per day, somehow they gotta get to 26,000 children. It seems more economically feasible to me to probably just, like, slaughter cows. Just saying. Pyromancer says you'd also have to assume Burger King and everyone else is doing the same. True. Nick says, hi, FBI.
You know, they use them up and they kill them and they chop them up and they sell them to McDonald's for
That's actually a good point,
Woo!
too. Not all most missing children are taken by a family member. So it's not like most missing children never are seen again. So that even further makes it more ridiculous. Patriot Party podcast vegan teacher crossover one.
Bet you didn't know that, did you? But hey, don't eat McDonald's, don't eat Burger King, don't eat those fast food restaurants.
Okay, so he's saying it's every fast food restaurant. Pyromancer says, also, what meat is used for chicken sandwiches? Do they just bleach a hamburger? Crocodile. The chicken is crocodile.
If you eat out at a little local diner where you know, hopefully you know them better, that they'll give you some fresh hamburger that's real hamburger. But are you approve of Joe Biden hurting kids? You approve of all the child trafficking? Do you approve of the high gas prices going up like $2 a gallon in the last 6 months? Do you approve of all this? Are you...
The gas prices were low because of the pandemic. Do you understand that?
Approving of this America. Do you...
Am I saying children don't taste like chicken? I wouldn't know.
Really like what Joe Biden's...
Now that the FBI is clearly monitoring me because of my search history, I have to make it clear. I've never eaten a child.
Doing. 50% of you like this?
Yes. Tucker White says, for some reason, when I hear McDonald's turns kids into burgers, I just think of this.
Oh, I'm the worst.
I'm not gonna play a clip from Drawn Together. Drawn Together is one of the worst fucking TV shows ever made.
His approval rating is...
Fella Dude Man says, if fast food is human, we're delicious. Agree.
Dropped 6% in a month, they said.
No, Hannah Dies of Laughter is not even close to being done yet.
That's hard to believe. It was 56%, now it's 50%. Ah, he lost 6% a month, though. That's good news. I really believe his approval rating is down in the teens. Maybe like the age he likes the most, maybe like 13, 14, 15.
You were indicted for trying to fuck a 14-year-old! The projection. The absolute projection. You are what you eat. Yeah, that's why I only eat people.
Joe Biden's a freaking rape. He's a kisser. He kisses all these little preteens. Maybe it's like 10 or 11 or 12. That's really the real age he likes. Maybe it's like 10% approval rating. Because this dude did not get 81 million. He didn't get 81 million votes. Come on, man. This dude can't pull up 81 people to a rally. How can he get 81 million votes?
Oh, look, it's that stupid talking point again. It's a good thing we determine our elections based on rally size during a pandemic.
This dude is the craziest dude in the world. We are screwed, y'all.
What's the link to this guy? Here. And this guy can? Can what? I missed bits? God damn it. I'm really sorry. I'm not doing this intentionally. Whose bits did I miss? Was it yours? I know with an adult human. I read that one. McBurger's people.
We're in trouble, as my buddy Jericho Green says. Shout out to Jericho Green. Hey, buddy, what's up? If you're out there, I hope you'll subscribe to my channel someday and check out my videos.
More than you. Okay, if anyone had a thing that I forgot to read, I can't find it, so at me and I'll read it. And just repeat it.
Not as good as yours, but hey, I'm one man in a phone camera and I just travel around like you do, buddy, and I don't work, but I work.
Shock.
Sales and marketing, and I just do my own thing. Go here, go there, go Mount Rushmore. I'm going to Utah, everybody, pretty soon, Utah. Leave a tip in the tip jar for the gas. I'm going to go to Utah. I'm going to investigate the UN building. See if I can get inside.
Cupcakes King says you're cute. Thank you.
I'm going to check this out. I'm going to film it. I don't care what they say. This is America. You cannot tell me not to film America. But this is Patriot Party Podcast. Never give up, never give in, never surrender. God bless. Hey, leave a tip if you like what I have to say. Hit that tip. Not trying to be rude or crass, just telling you how it is, telling you the truth. God bless. Never give up, never give in to anybody, and never surrender to the commies.
He legit is just quoting Galaxy Quest, so that's interesting.
Hello, everybody. This is the Patriot Party Podcast. There's this guy in Washington, D.C. as a police officer called Harry Dunn. I watched it today during the morning on Newsmax. I went to work to make some money to pay for my bills.
I thought you just said you don't work in the other video.
But I was watching Newsmax, and this guy was basically put up the bad. There's going to be a lot of videos coming out about this hearing they had this morning on the January 6th Commission. This man, straight up, is a liar. I bet anything I have on it. No Trump supporter called this man the N-word. That's a bunch of bullshit.
I've seen multiple videos of Trump supporters calling people racial slurs. This is not a rare phenomena.
Harry Dunn, you're a liar and a fat mouth. I'm calling you out. Where's the video? Saw it on Newsmax, the story, said, where's the video? And I'm asking, where's the video, idiot?
Tucker White says, I don't understand wanting to go to a political rally, but could you imagine wanting to go to a Joe Biden rally? He was literally the fuck it, he'll do choice for progressives, right? Even if I really liked, like, let's say, I don't know, let's say Bernie Sanders had come around me, bad choice, bad phrasing. Let's say Bernie Sanders had a rally in an area around where I live. And I still probably wouldn't go. Like, I don't care. I can watch it on YouTube.
No Trump supporter called you the N-word. You're an idiot, you're a liar, and a fat mouth. And you're crying bullshit, that ain't gonna be accepted. You would not survive in a war, Harry. You are an easy break on the mentality. Your mentality's been broken, Harry. You better retire, sir, because you can't be a police officer no more.
You went to a Bernie rally in 2015. It was a fun experience. I'm glad you had a good time. I just don't care for political speeches very much. There are very few political speeches that I've ever heard that I'm like, yeah, I'm glad I sat through this whole thing. A lot of political speeches tend to be platitudes, and I just don't care for them. I know what my policy positions are. I don't need to hear a pep rally about it.
More. If you have PSTD, blue, and you have all this counseling you go to on that, man, I'm sorry you're broke mentally, but quit this force right now and go become a friggin' social worker or some crap in Chicago. You can do something else, man. Chicago would take care of you. I promise.
Von Tuck says, I need to hear more about Bernie coming, please. The top 1% of the top 1% of the top 5% of the Kumas are getting all of the Kum.
You cannot protect the citizens, man. You're broken. Your mentality is not strong. You cannot fight this fight anymore. Thank you for your service. Now retire and go fishing, buddy. That crying bullshit we don't buy. We know it's all a bunch of bullshit act. Nobody called you the N-word. No Trump supporter said. That's a fucking lie. I'm calling you a liar, Harry. Harry Dunn.
Mike Banks with a link.
Washington police officer, you're a fucking liar. You're trying to divide us farther. You're a racist. Talking about...
He's a racist for telling people that a Trump supporter called him the N-word?
Trump, people wearing Trump hats and MAGA hats on. Fuck it, dude. Quit fucking dividing our country, you asshole. Patriot Party podcast. I'm trying to bring us together. I'm trying to bring the news.
I think this guy wants to call him the N-word really, really bad. Von Tuck says, thank you for your service, but we hate you. Tucker White says, okay, we ejected from this idiot's video with all our coom talk, but what the fuck is happening? He's bitching about some person who I think testified at the January 6th hearing that's happening today.
But this guy, this Harry Dunn guy, he's a friggin' idiot. Fuck him. He should retire. He's a weak snowflake. This Patriot Party podcast, never give up your right to speak the truth. Never give in to your neighbor, mom, dad, nobody. Make sure you have it all ready to go. And never surrender to these communist motherfucking Democrats who want to fucking destroy you. Do not give in on any of these new orders they're trying to come up with. Fight, fight, fight for their life.
So that's what this dude's been up to. You get it. We could watch Ben and not Ben. It's been a while since we've seen Ben and not Ben since they got, you know, taken off of YouTube. Bingo card. Let's look at the bingo card. I don't think we actually have any other ones. Oh, this one, satanic ritual child abuse. He inferred about that. Tucker White says, I just love how this idiot got worked up over a congressional hearing that's going to be nothing but a pageant. And Variegated says, I hope that cleanse has your type of humor. It's kind of Tim and Eric. Empty the Tank says, he knocks social workers, but also complains he can't access the services because of immigrants. Do you want our services or not? Respect social workers. Right?
On my bike, yo! I don't get it. When I sweep it, I don't get it. In the swimming pool, I don't get it. With my pit bulls, I don't get it. With my kettle corn. Oh, girl, I don't know. I don't get it.
Gil Gang, thanks for 5 months.
Wanna lick from you. I just don't get it. Come on down to my shop and check out my round rims. Buy my rims.
Ouch, that's gotta hurt.
What in the hell was that? Okay, let's watch the Edge of Wonder weirdos. This one's about time travel and how they think time travel is real.
You could go back in time and maybe change something about your past. Maybe you wish you would have married your first love. Or maybe you wish you didn't. Or you could go back in time and actually see how the pyramids were built. Today we're going to be exploring one of my favorite topics, time travel. Welcome to Edge of Wonder. I'm your host, Ben Chasteen, and joining me today is my friend Rob Counts, who is also a time travel enthusiast.
Woo! Ben and not Ben.
Hey guys. Basically, my views on time travel or any of this kind of things is we should be...
Is this a chud? They're kind of conspiracy theorists and chuds. They're conspiracy theorists, but they also believe in like the QAnon stuff and all that.
Open to things. It's not that I want to like readily believe any information that's just put in front of me.
Didn't you guys talk about how you think the government has robotic velociraptors? I kind of feel like you believe any information that's put in front of you if you find it interesting. Muddy, thanks for 2 months.
But I think people a lot of times just like totally don't pay attention to all kinds of things that could actually be happening. I tend to keep a little bit more open about those things, but at the same time, like I'm cautious about accepting anything. You know, I mean, you can't just like believe something someone tells you. You know?
Right. You know, growing up, one of my favorite movies was, well, aside from Star Wars, was Back to the Future. I just really loved that movie.
Is it time travel?
Because of the time travel.
I was pretty much a Groundhog Day guy.
Groundhog Day was really good too, though. I really liked that. And actually, most recently, I really liked Interstellar. I thought that was a really great movie.
And what about Edge of Tomorrow?
And Edge of...
They kind of stole our name there. Yeah.
Actually, you were telling me about a story that I didn't know about previously.
I found this really interesting article about this guy who disappeared in like I think it was like the 1800s sometimes, right? And he reappears in Times Square like 50 years later. And as soon as he arrives in Times Square, he gets hit by a car. Police find him. He's dressed like he belongs like 100 years earlier or 50 years earlier, whatever. And they do some research and they find out that this guy actually existed back then, and he was going for a while.
How would they even do that? A man in Times Square that's unidentified was hit by a car and he was wearing old-timey clothes. Ah, I read a story about a man who disappeared 50 years ago. Must be the same guy. Case closed. It's the 1950s. This is how police work works.
Walk one night, disappears, and he ends up in Times Square randomly, and everyone's just totally like, no one can figure any of that stuff.
Nereus Crowhill says Groundhog's Day isn't time travel, it's a time loop. They're related. They're related. Which reminds me, I don't think anyone... Oh, no, Baja might be listening, so I don't want to talk about D&D plans I have. Never mind. Big Sweet Demon says, check the government files. It's him. Muddy says, that was me. Used my demon powers for the funsies. Cool. It's a very famous sci-fi story. Oh, so it's not even like a thing that was claimed to be a real thing. It's just fiction. Gotcha. Cue the John Mulaney bit.
Well, like there's the hipster time traveler. You know, have you seen that photo?
Yeah, that's a weird one, right?
Right.
Go ahead, you'll just pretend you didn't hear it. No, I'm not gonna do that.
So the photo is a legit photo. I mean, it hasn't been photoshopped or edited in any way or shape or form. Like, the guy's camera is actually a Kodak 6. That is actually from that time period.
Right.
Same thing with his glasses. I saw him walking down the street today. Even with that camera, you wouldn't even think anything of it.
He's just like a dude. It's not a time traveler.
Yeah, it was how he was dressed, but if you look at every single other person in that photo, everyone's like dressed really nice, like how they used to.
It looks like he probably just came from work. Those might be welding goggles or something, or sunglasses. I don't know how long sunglasses have been a thing. And he's just wearing like a t-shirt. He probably came from the factory that he works at.
Then that only him, and he's got like a graphic tee. I mean, anything's possible.
I don't think that's a graphic tee. It's probably like a company logo thing.
Anything's possible.
Yeah, I know. Captain Disillusion talked about this. Captain Disillusion's great.
Well, who knows? But I want to kind of talk about something more interesting that I found lately.
This just in, a man exists.
Which is a guy by the name...
Sunglasses are literally older than Jesus. Cool. Tucker White says, since we're on time travel, I gotta play this. Nope! Don't send me things like that. I can't play them on stream. If I could play Rocky Horror Picture Show, we would have watched Rocky Horror Picture Show by now.
Name of Andrew Basiago, supposedly a time traveler.
We read an article about that weirdo the other day. He's full of shit.
Who's photographed during the Abraham Lincoln.
No, he wasn't. A child with a blurry face was photographed, and this grifter claimed, oh yeah, that faceless child in this blurry photo from the 1800s. Yeah, that was me. I'm a time traveler. And idiots like Ben and Not Ben go, oh my god, he's a time traveler! Didn't the video start with them saying you shouldn't just believe anything anyone says to you?
In Gettysburg Address.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Have you heard about this?
No, no, no.
Okay, because with you being like really into time travel, I was like, wow, Rob's gonna really freak out about this one.
And by into time travel, he means I've watched Time Cop a lot.
So, okay, going back to this photo, this guy's name Andrew Basiago. Supposedly, he was part of a U.S. government experiment called Project Pegasus, where he was involved in time travel. I mean, his father was part of this program, traveling back in time and whatnot. So his father goes back in time to the Abraham Lincoln days. He sees his son there. So he knew that his son was going to be part of the program. So he comes back to the present, invites his son, Andrew. I think at the time he was like 10 years old or something, right?
Interesting.
Now, this kind of goes along with what happened at the Montauk Project. They were also doing experiments as well, supposedly on kids. Well, you know Stranger Things, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Of course, everyone knows Stranger Things. Well, did you know the original title was going to be called Montauk Project?
No.
Yeah, that was the original title of the show, but then they decided to change it. And
that would have changed things massively.
But that's actually supposedly what Stranger Things is based out of, as the stuff that happened in the Montauk.
Lily Love Stuff says, are you telling me Obama didn't work on Mars as part of the KF Project Pegasus? I don't think he did. I think Obama was stationed on the moon at that period of time.
Getting back to Andrew's story, his father starts taking him and they start traveling in time. Then he goes back to the Gettysburg Address with Abraham Lincoln, and he says that after Lincoln gave his speech, then he starts walking forward, and that's who you see in the photo, in the very front of the photo.
So you actually see Abraham in the back?
In the back, yeah. Wow. You can actually see Abraham in the back. And then
yeah, if I'm sent back in time to like watch the Gettysburg Address, I go, this is boring, and I walk away from Abraham fucking Lincoln. Blackwing Hecate says, Ben and Not Ben are the man who is not tall and the man who is not short of this channel. Variegated, I guess I missed some bits. I'm sorry I keep doing that. It's just not popping up. Variegated says, I really love the skillful way in which you caught the bride's bouquet.
In the center of the photo, you see it looks like a little boy.
Yeah, I think the most interesting thing about that photo is that his shoes really actually do look bigger.
Yeah, they actually do. Because he said when he jumped back and passed, his shoes, for some reason, didn't come with them.
That's not how anything works. That's not how anything works, you idiots. He looked at an old-timey photograph and went, all right, who am I going to claim to be? How about this kid? Oh, he's got kind of weirdly big shoes. I should make up a detail about that so it sounds legit.
And so he had to borrow someone's shoe.
I got to confess, as always, you are the #1 show in New York City. I kid you not. Okay, so in that 2012 movie,
Why did it all of a sudden cut to this?
Have to examine what's going on today.
It's Treadstone without the inconsistency.
So then from 2009 to 2021, there's been at least 246 mass shootings.
This is still the time travel video, folks.
What we have witnessed, this...
Is this like an ad? Did they randomly throw an ad into the middle of their video in a place that makes no sense?
Past Monday was, I believe, a Blackbriar Treadstone office. They said, what? Distract of this earth entity. And this
Dude, that's Tesla actually.
Yeah, that's an ad for a different show. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Dude, that's crazy.
Crazy.
You talked about the Montauk Project a couple minutes ago, right? Wasn't Tesla and like Einstein and stuff connected to this? What happened?
Yes. So supposedly Tesla actually created time machine.
Really?
This is the actual thing. So it gets even...
I feel like Einstein and Tesla working on a project together would be contentious, considering I think Nikolai Tesla, like, thought the theory of relativity was bullshit. Nick says, "Oh, I watched a video about Larry Gators on Telltale's channel. We've covered him. Have we covered him on this channel before? I don't think we have."
Crazier. JP Morgan was originally funding Tesla, and he was doing stuff with Edison as well. So Tesla wanted to...
I'm playing both sides, so I always come out on top.
...give this away for free. He didn't want to make money off of it. He felt like this is given to mankind and that he wanted to give it out. JP...
Unrelated, but your bird loves my laugh. Well, I'm happy for the bird.
Morgan and Edison had total opposite views. They're like, we want it for the money, right? So JP Morgan stopped funding Tesla, and then he just went strictly with Edison, and unfortunately Edison took a lot of Tesla's ideas. So Tesla needed money and needed help.
The Montauk Project was actually just an experimental over-the-horizon radar station. Oh, that's interesting. I'd say that's more interesting than the fake shit they're saying, because it's real. Their interview with David Wilcock are the best to make fun of. Why won't it play now? Why won't it play now? Do, 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 do.
So much for being with us. Really appreciate your time. Hey, thank you guys for...
Oh my god! It's... No, 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 no. I'm not... I can't. No, no, no. Sometimes I really hate some of my own rules that I set for myself. But they're there for a reason.
And guess who he goes to? John G. Trump.
Wait, like Trump? Like President Trump?
Like President Donald Trump.
Crazy.
So it was his uncle. I think it might have been a great uncle. But anyways, so then after Tesla dies...
Which was at the New Yorker,
Yeah,
right?
it's right near here,
He
actually.
died there.
So right after he died, Uncle Trump.
Uncle Trump. Let's call him Uncle Trump.
Uncle Trump.
That's good.
They go in with the FBI. The FBI confiscates everything. So then people are like, wait a minute, what happened, blah, blah, blah. So supposedly they say they released all the papers. According to Andrew...
Muddy says 5-head.
Basiago, he says that the FBI kept a lot of the top secret about like time travel. There's stuff about
What rule was that gonna break? Not making jokes about how people look. I don't like to comment on how people look. I think it's rude. I think it's not helpful. I just think it's a dick move.
Portation,
Stuff
other
about
things like
Jean-Claude Van
yeah.
Damme. Sure. So didn't Tesla talk about like cell phones, video chat, and internet?
Yeah, actually, believe it or not, he actually has a quote.
Okay, so he said, when wireless is perfectly applied, the whole Earth will be converted into a huge brain, which in fact is, all things being particles of a real and rhythmic whole. We shall be able to communicate with one another instantly, irrespective of distance. Not only this, but through television and telephony, We shall see and hear one another as perfectly as though we were face to face, despite intervening distances of thousands of miles, and the instruments through which we shall be able to do this will be amazingly simple compared with our present telephone.
Yeah, that's great. Tesla was an inventor and a futurist. I'm not surprised he had some quotes about the future that turned out to be accurate.
A man will be able to carry one in his vest pocket. Dude just talked about iPhones.
Yeah.
That's
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
So he talks about iPhones, he talks about FaceTime, and he talks about the internet. So there's a theory out there that actually Tesla used this time machine.
No.
Actually go into the future and actually saw the
so
future.
he saw that?
So suppose...
Okay, this would be like saying Jules Verne wrote From the Earth to the Moon, therefore he used a time machine to go and see the future where rocketry was a thing. No. Speculative fiction about the future is a thing. Futurism is a thing. Trying to predict future trends based on what's happening now is a thing. People still do it. It's not magic. It doesn't require a time machine. It just requires a human brain and the ability to recognize trends that might move forward into the future. Blackwing Hecty says, spooky action at a distance. Oops.
He saw it. People are not going to want you to release this. The government's not going to want this out.
No.
Muddy says, I love Tesla, but unfortunately people like these two do as well.
Why, when you can make money off of it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
This gets pretty even more crazier.
This gets pretty even more crazier. Cool.
Hitler supposedly had a time machine.
Oh, come on. Why is Hitler attached to everything?
This is total bullshit, too. If you need to know that. They're going to talk about the bell.
Already in like almost every movie.
I know. Supposedly he had a time machine called the Glocke.
Oh, yeah?
The bell. Okay, do you know where this idea of the bell, the Nazi time machine, comes from? I'll give you one guess. Where do you think this conspiracy theory originated about this, the bell? A fiction novel! Someone wrote a fiction novel that included this, and then a bunch of idiot conspiracy theorists were like, I bet that was a real thing! It's never been a thing. This was invented for a fiction novel. Von Tuck says, Einstein and Tesla glare at each other from across... Wait, hold on. Einstein and Tesla glare at each other from across other each with their partners at their sides. Tesla and his pigeon and Einstein and his cousin on the other. They were both pretty weird.
Meaning the bell. Right before World War II, when things were escalating, there was a crash, which they thought there was the Allied forces. Supposedly they found the UFO.
Oh, so basically all this technology came from this UFO.
That is the theory, and that's supposedly...
How would anyone lose a war with time travel technology? You'd have to be the absolute worst. Patriot Party Podcast responded to my comment that said, I have a channel bigger and more popular than yours. Does that mean I win? No, it's all in all caps. No, because I've had 4 channels deleted by YouTube. I'm on my 5th and 6th. You're on your 1st. So no, you loose.
That's how they were able to develop more technology than the West. It's like, you know, they developed first the U-boats, and then they had faster planes. There's actual photos of UFOs with Nazi symbols on them.
Of course they put a Nazi symbol on
I don't know if it's like real, you know, who knows.
So, okay, so let's say you went back in time then and you were like, I don't like Rob.
My response was, I definitely win the spelling contest, though.
I want to wipe Rob off.
Because he misspelled a lot of words in that. Big Sweet Demon says, poor mother effer doesn't know what a kill-death ratio is.
Off the face of the earth, and you kill my grandfather. What's going to happen to me?
I can answer this. It's a very common thing, the grandfather paradox. So I think I kind of figured this out. Let's say that this is our timeline, right? We're living on this timeline right here. And 2018.
He's literally just gonna do the Back to the Future 2 thing, isn't he? And then there's a tangent. I mean, but you've never had a deleted channel? True. Princess Amelia says, why are the emotes popping up on stream all blurry today? Are they? Someone do an emote. So I can see. I'll do some. Yeah, I don't know why they're blurry. That is weird.
Let's use the analogy like, you know, you wish you would have married this girl back in 2006. So let's say you go back in time, 2006. So now you have your old 2018 self, and then you have your younger self here.
Take a shot if he uses the word quantum while explaining this.
Kind of skinny. Obviously, you can't marry this girl from 2018. It's not going to work. So the only way you're going to do it is you have to convince yourself to marry this girl. So you end up getting married finally. You go back to 2018, present time. The thing is, nothing's going to change because it never happened on this timeline originally.
Oh no, they're going with the Avengers time travel rules.
So everything you do, it can't affect this timeline if it didn't already happen on that timeline.
So you mean you can't derail yourself off of a timeline?
Right. So even if they got married, what would end up happening is an alternate universe or alternate dimension would come in, and then they would be happily married, hopefully, on this alternate timeline, which you would have no connection with at all.
That sounds really underwhelming.
So I think there's small things that could be changed. But like, for example, let's go back to kill Jean-Claude Van Damme so he doesn't have to make the movie Time Cop, right?
Please do.
So we go back in time, but it's the same thing. Even if you're dumb and you decide to kill his grandfather, it's just going to create an alternate dimension. You're going to be in jail,
That's right.
And in this dimension, you just go back here and...
JCVD still.
Why are they even saying this like it's factual? Like these are... This is theoretical, like thought experiment on how time travel could theoretically work if it existed. This isn't based on any data. No one's ever time traveled. We don't even know if backwards time travel is like theoretically possible. Chrysia says that's not the grandfather paradox. The grandfather paradox only occurs if you kill your grandfather, not somebody else's. True. Nick says maybe someone should report these guys to Time Cop. Big Sweet Demon says, my favorite philosophical razor, Newton's flaming laser sword.
Still, you know, drop kicking people.
Yeah.
Man, there's like so much information out there about time travel. This is crazy.
Yes, there's a whole lot.
I think like my next step is I'm gonna go home and watch Terminator 1 and 2, but none of the others because they're horrible.
What a hot take in 2021. Guys, did you know that only the first 2 Terminator movies are the good ones? I don't mean to be controversial. Von Tuck says, can we go to the universe where Donald Trump choked on a Big Mac in 2015? Andrew Patella says, yeah, the grandfather paradox isn't a thing on branching timelines model.
I agree with you. So what do you guys think of today's episode on time travel? Do you believe Andrew Basagio's story?
No, he's a liar.
What about Project Pegasus?
No.
Or Tesla's theory? Or how about Hitler's Der Glock?
No, it was from a fiction novel.
Comment below. Also, do you have any stories or experiences you would like to share? Or maybe there's a specific topic that you would like me to cover. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe for more awesome videos on unexplained.
Screaming at the Radio says the first Terminator movie is terrible. Are we gonna fight today? What do you mean the first Terminator movie is terrible? What do you mean?
Explained mysteries, life, and our wondrous universe. Until then, we'll see you out on the edge.
The edge of wonder. Wonder.
The second one was Look, I'm not saying Terminator 2 isn't a better film than Terminator 1, but Terminator 1 is going for a very different thing. Terminator 1 is basically a suspense horror film. Terminator 2 is an action film. They're both great for very different reasons. But if I had to pick, yes, Terminator 2 is better, but Terminator 1 is still great! Terminator 1 is one of the greatest time travel films of all time! Screaming at the Radio says it's very bad cinema. Watched it again a few days ago. Didn't age well. You haven't aged well! The film did nothing wrong! Fella Dude Man says, them's fighting words. Seriously, though, I love the... Like, I don't care. If you don't like... I'm joking. If that's not clear. I just want to... I'm joking. If you don't like the first Terminator movie, that's fine. I love the first Terminator movie, though. The stop-motion stuff is disturbing? Yeah, but, like, it's supposed to be. And I know what scene you're talking about specifically when the T-1000 walks out of the... Or is it the T-100? Might be the T-100. Whatever it is, when it walks out and it's got no skin or anything and it's just the robot. Like, yeah, that effect hasn't aged well, but it's still, like, a good movie. I don't know. Lily Love Stuff says... Oh, wait. Von Tuck says, Zoomers can't handle Alien or Terminator. Too slow for them. Lily Love Stuff says, I choose to believe Andrew Basiago because his presidential platform included Sasquatch protection, and that's important to me as someone who's hairy and bipedal. Wagroad says, actually, the grandfather paradox happens if you go back, meaning to kill virtually anyone, because if you go back intending to kill anyone, and you do, then you won't be motivated to go back in time to kill them. Yeah. Screaming at the Radio says, not disturbing that way, it's just bad. And when he watches himself in the mirror, why? How old are you? I'm just, like, genuinely curious if this is, like, an age difference thing, or if it's a taste thing. Genuinely curious. Variegated says, I posted a link way at the bottom that you missed. I wasn't going to mention it again, but it's relevant to this video you just showed us. It's at 5704, and this comedian gets owned when he presumes that Captain America is suggesting we all join into communism and that sharing isn't in the Constitution. It's a few minutes long. I get it if you can't show it here. I mean, what's it from? Yasmin Way, thanks for gifting a sub. You're 51. Okay, so it's not, I don't think it's an age thing. That's weird then. I don't know. That's cool. You don't have to like Terminator. I think it's great, though. Muddy says outdated effects don't make a movie bad. Right? That's how I feel, too. Andrew Patella says, the grandfather paradox is so mainstream. Can we talk instead about the twin paradox or the ladder paradox? Those are way more interesting. It's something from the Young Turks. I mean, maybe we can watch it. It's kind of more of a chud watch thing, though. Two Man says, I think the grandfather paradox is when we go back in time and fuck your grandma, a la Philip J. Fry. Rand the Fool says, American Psycho 2? Question mark, exclamation point. Yeah, there was an American Psycho 2. It was really bad. Mila Kunis was the main character. She kills Patrick Bateman in the first 3 minutes. Alright, let's watch... This is gonna be so bad. Alright, let's watch this video that I think doesn't believe the germ theory of medicine is true. We'll see how this is. Von Tuck says, we can have peace as long as we all agree RoboCop was good. Is it gonna load? Maybe it won't load and we won't have to watch it. Rublum says, gonna go out on a limb and say Germ Guy isn't gonna be correct. Bold claim. They also have a rumble. I might have
all rights reserved.
There we go.
We reserve all rights.
That's not how that works. But okay. Well, this is just super gross.
As many people are awakening to the fact that viruses are nothing more than submicroscopic particles of dead cell debris.
No?
Virus, dead cell debris that come from cells dying either naturally from apoptosis, meaning natural programmed cell death.
If Baja's listening, I think she's gonna have an aneurysm. Muddy says, well, I can't see the germs, so they don't exist. This guy probably... Yep, there's Baja. Baja says, oh my god, it's the exome bullshit.
Or cells that are dying from necrosis due to over-acidity and toxicity in the blood. And that virus particles are neither airborne nor contagious, nor do they...
Andrew Patella says, all rights, no responsibilities reserved.
They cause any disease or illness. A fair too many people are still not understanding that all of germ theory is debunked. This includes...
Uh-oh! Someone call every doctor on planet Earth!
Bacteria, fungus, and mold. There are no such thing as contagious bacterial infections any more than there are contagious viruses. Both are in the realm of leprechauns and unicorns. Viruses are simply dead cell debris.
No, they're not! They are absolutely not!
This is a dying cell, and these are viruses, the debris from the dying cell. And
I wish Baja was here so badly.
Bacteria and germs are simply dead cell debris eaters. These bacteria are simply the body's janitors. Their job is to eat and remove this dying cell's viral debris and transmute that debris into fuel and energy without photosynthesis.
This is not how anything works!
As we've pointed out in several previous films, Dr. Fraser of Canada and Dr. Powell of California have experimented.
Let's see, Dr. Fraser of... Let's try and find these doctors and see what they have to say. Dr. Fraser of Canada. Baja says I'm seriously gonna cry, Hannah. I'm sorry. Oh my goodness. Is this a person who, like, literally was doing research in the early 1900s? Uh-oh. Frida Fraser was a Canadian physician, scientist, and academic who worked in infectious disease, including research on scarlet fever and tuberculosis. After finishing her medical studies at the Toronto University in 1925, she completed a 2-year internship in the United States, studying and working in Manhattan and Philadelphia. Afterwards, she conducted research in the Connaught laboratories concentrating on infectious disease, making important contributions in the pre-penicillin age to isolate strains of streptococci. Oh, okay, so she's like an actual, like, person. Around 1917, Fraser met her life partner, Edith Williams, and through their families tried to keep them apart. Their relationship spanned until Edith's death in 1979. The correspondence between the two has been preserved and is an important legacy for the lesbian history of Canada. Fuck yeah! Nice. Two-Man says, I'm gonna have an aneurysm, WTF. Two-Man says, no, say one. Rublum says, I need a joke before I snap at Germ Guy. Matthew McConaughey goes to a bakery and says, and asks for 4 loaves. The baker asks what kind. He says, all right, all right, all right. Muddy says, I want to make a joke, but this guy's dumb is infecting my brain. With what? Infections don't exist. Wagrode says, raise funds to get Baja equipment to remote in whenever she feels compelled to. I mean, she can. She could get on Discord. Big Cop says, Hannah, have you seen this preacher that told his congregation he'd kick them out if they wore masks? Greg Locke? That doesn't surprise me. Greg Locke's kind of a huge piece of shit.
Experimented with billions of germs of all varieties. That includes all known bacterial forms, but have been unable to produce a single disease by the introduction of germs into human subjects.
I don't think that's a thing they would. What do you mean? Hey, I have this, and yes, I'm aware of, like, the Tuskegee experiments and stuff, but generally speaking, you don't want to be like, hey, can I give you this bacterial infection? Yikes.
Dr. Waite tried the same for years to...
Even so, they're probably, I don't know, Baja, what's the ethical line in terms of, like, infecting people intentionally with a disease for research purposes? Just curious. No, I don't want to subscribe, but this post is talking about the thing! Oh my god, I'm not turning my ad block off.
Prove the germ theory.
Can't do it at all, as far as you know? Well, there you go. Big Sweet Demon with 100 bits kicks off the hype train and says there have been doctors who have given themselves diseases for research. One guy drank cholera poo to infect himself and study it. Fun.
But he too could not do so. Dr. Cowan is correct when he states that no one has ever caused any disease in any person or animal by introducing into them just a pure isolated bacteria or virus.
With the inclusion of animals, I'm 100% sure that's not true. Wagroads, thanks for 100 bits, and BD Kappa, thanks for 15 months.
Ever. The germ theory of disease is the origin of the myth of contagion. It is just a theory, not a fact.
I hate it! Baja, is there any discussion in the scientific community of changing the term theory to something else? Because it's caused a lot of fucking problems with idiots. If the scientific community could change the word theory in, like, the theory of gravity, the theory of evolution, germ theory, to some other term, that'd be great. Wagroads13, thanks for gifting a sub. Verigated with 50 bits says, sorry for that bad cleanse. Hope it didn't scar anyone. I'm still pleased with it, though. Muddy says, posts that make me go, ah. Baja says, it isn't. We literally have infected embryos with Zika virus in my lab. I've seen it. Baja says, no, screw the dumb fucks. I don't think that's a good idea. You can't just say fuck them. Idiots are gonna idiot. E-Tune says the unnecessary underlining and circling is pissing me off slightly more. And Mike Mac says Typhoid Mary says otherwise. 7% to level 2.
And it applies to all bacteria and germs, not just virus particles made out of dead cell debris. And here is the heart of all of the confusion. Though germs themselves are neither contagious, harmful, or toxic, under certain conditions, the byproducts of a small percentage of these germs can be highly toxic and poisonous. Snakes are an excellent analogy for understanding germs and bacterium. Out of 3,000 known species of snakes, only 600 or 20% of those species are even venomous, and only 200 species or 7% of all snakes carry a venom able to significantly harm or kill a human.
Big Sweet Demon says, hype, also calling it now, this guy is a Christian Scientist. I actually don't know much about Christian Scientists. I know they exist. I don't know what they are, though, or why they call themselves Christian Scientists.
80% of those rare, dangerous kinds of snakes live in places where humans very rarely go or encounter them, unless purposely looking for them.
12% of the level 2 hype train.
None of those snakes or their fangs are dangerous to humans. It is the venom byproduct that the snakes can produce that can be harmful or fatal. If you remove the poison glands from a cobra, It can bite you all at once. It will not kill you. You can even cook and eat a poisonous snake. Snakes and...
No, you could cook and eat a venomous snake. A poisonous snake would be poison. Poison is different. Poisonous is different than venomous. Tea with Goblin says, none of the humans go where those snakes live, stares an Australian.
And snake bites are not fatal or harmful. The poisonous venom byproduct...
Venomous? Hydrate will do. Baja says, someone Minecraft me, please. Muddy says, what's the video called? I need to send it to my biochem friend. Here's a link. Mike Max with a link. Oh, Jesus! Blackwing Hecty says, as a matter of fact, that's literally the difference between venomous and poisonous. 20% to level 2 on the hype train.
Product or waste product of 7% of snakes injected into your bloodstream is what is harmful or fatal. Germs are no different. Your own body has trillions of them inside of you at all times, eating your viral dead cell debris and waste products. You can also eat germs, breathe them in, drink them, or even in the case of scientists like Dr. Fraser, Dr. Powell, and Dr. Waite, you can isolate these germs by soaking them or macerating them in a solution, pouring that solution through a nanofilter to get out all other particles and debris, spin that fluid in a density gradient centrifuge machine until all of the same kind of germs are in one band together. Suck that band out with a pipette and inject that isolated germ or bacteria into a human subject.
Will this guy volunteer? 22% with 30 seconds left on the hype train. Jeff Millard says, bits hype, etc. So, like, will this guy volunteer if we get someone to isolate a virus to inject into him? Let's say we get the bubonic plague and isolate it. Will he let us inject it into his arm? Blackwing Hecty says, if you bite it and you die, it's poison. If it bites you and you die, it's venomous. Yep.
And nothing will happen. Not one person has ever been made sick by doing this without adding some other poisonous chemical or tissue to the injection. Not one. Germs themselves do not cause disease.
Yes, they do! Chrysia says, it depends on the bacteria. Some bacteria are beneficial, but they're not all the same. Fella Dude Man says, Hannah's laugh is worth the price of admission. Thank you.
Just like snakes and snake bites do not cause illness or death. However, just like the snakes, around 2% of different germ forms can start producing highly toxic waste byproducts when they are suddenly living in an oxygen-deprived or highly acidic, putrefying environment, like a dead or dying organism.
Ew. Ew.
That's like assuming fire is the cause of all duck deaths, because we found all of these burnt duck corpses, but can't explain why these duck corpses have no burn marks. If germs are the sole cause of scarlet fever, tuberculosis, and pneumonia, then the same germs must be found in all people with these diseases, not just some of them. And they aren't. An inconvenient fact the big pharma cult hides from the general public. The second problem was, the fields of biochemistry and molecular biology were not advanced in the 1800s, and we now know that bacteria do not produce toxins, but normal enzymes like amylases, lipases, and proteases, used in food and alcohol fermentation or the production of lactates, that either do not appear in a healthy human being, or if they do, never in such an amount as to make them dangerous. Enzymes are simply proteins that serve two functions. They can either take an advanced molecule like food or even snake venom and break them down into smaller materials that can be reused by the body or eliminated as waste. Or they can take smaller molecules and bind them together to make more advanced molecules that the body can use. Enzymes themselves are not poisonous or usually dangerous, but in certain...
Baja says, this guy is so wrong I can't even explain his wrongness in any effective way because it's just nonsense. It's word salad. The words mean things separately but not together. Well, that brings us to the bingo card where we, I guess, have word salad and Baja Blasts.
certain cases, the breakdown byproducts like lactates and fermentation from them breaking down these complex materials can be highly toxic to the human body. If you don't believe that, go leave an egg and potato salad in the summer sun for a week and then eat it and see what happens to you. But it's not the bacteria themselves.
Oh yeah, Mike Max had a thing, and it's a clip from, I think, The Expendables? I heard you were bitten by a king cobra. Yeah, I was, but after 5 days of excruciating pain, the cobra died. I hate Chuck Norris jokes. Was that a joke they actually made in that movie?
Or their enzymes that will make you sick. It's the putrefied waste byproduct of the complex organic molecules that they break down that are
well, that's goddamn disgusting.
Sometimes poisonous. If you eat a turd out of your toilet...
That's literally just a picture of a turd.
It's not the anaerobic bacteria and germs living in your turd that will make you sick. It's the turd in your turd that will make you sick. Germs are no more contagious than a turd floating in your toilet. Do you wear a surgical mask every time you go into a public toilet?
I mean, now I might. Somebody says, pro tip, don't eat shit.
Sir.
Bright Rays of Red says, have you ever seen a Catholic movie review website? I found looking at the morally offensive movies fun. I remember reading it about my theological textbook. No, I haven't.
Enzymes like snake venom, when injected directly into your bloodstream, toxins.
This video's like an hour long, so I'm just going to start skipping through. And I'm not going to put it on screen, because I don't know what disgusting stuff he's going to put on the screen for the rest of it.
Out to eat and drink, as most of them taste and smell too putrid and foul to eat or drink without vomiting. Unless you inject these toxins directly into your bloodstream, like vaccines do.
Oh, no!
Open animal throats and pumping the same amount of a harmless water or saline solution down to see if the animal also died from the procedure and not the germs or toxic fluid.
Report, it's on BitChute. You can't it's not getting taken off BitChute. BitChute hosts literal Nazis.
Which is ironic, considering to this day, Koch himself is credited for stealing Friedrich Gustav Henle's postulates, now called Koch's postulates, which claim you have to run the control group experiments on the healthy animals or tissue cultures, of which Koch himself never did any such thing in any of his own
Baja says, we literally do that. It's called vehicle controls, you dumbass.
Experiments, because Bismarck was paying him to fabricate a lie about contagious plagues for political use against British trade ships, not to conduct valid scientific experiments. Koch was also one of the first to start photographing bacteria through microscopes, but in order to do this, he had to dye the bacteria so they would show up on his film.
Oh, Baja's about to get pissed. Princess Amelia says, hey dog, we heard you like turds, so we put a turd in your turd so you can get sick while you get sick.
And he received those colorant dyes from the petrochemical industry. Then, all of the other medical researchers took the same colorants, took healthy tissue, They acidified that healthy tissue and discovered they had the same coloring reaction and grew the exact same bacteria that can be seen and photographed, just as Robert Koch did.
Lily Love Stuff says, OMG, talking about a week-old potato salad, I had a man in my call my job and tell me that someone broke into his house and poisoned his potato salad because they thought he was racist, so he wanted to let me know he was reporting his not white neighbors to the police for poisoning him because 2 weeks ago when he ate the potato salad, he didn't get sick. Oh my god.
But later, they discovered that these chemical colorant dyes actually killed bacteria by making holes in them, and others inhibited the DNA of the bacteria so that they can no longer reproduce, and the bacteria die and return back to phage or spore form. From this, antibiotics were contrived from colorants. Ever wonder why they're filled with all of those bright, pretty colored beads?
Has this guy heard of penicillin by chance? Baha says, yeah, because the bacteria are so thin, they're optically transparent. You have to stain them because transparent bacteria on glass is hard to see. Okay, I'm not showing the screen for most of it, but I gotta show you. He's literally just showing, like, stock photos of medication and he's an idiot, so I guess he thinks, oh, they're different colors, so it must just be dye. Muddy says, I'm pretty sure bacteria is smarter than this fucker.
That's right. Our doctors are killing our body's janitorial bacteria that are trying to help us by cleaning toxins out of our body, by poison.
Baha says, who cares if the bacteria is dead? You can still see it.
Poisoning our body with something so toxic it even kills bacteria. And we call this medicine. IG Farben was a powerful cartel of chemical and dye manufacturing companies like BASF, Bayer, Hoechst, and later Merck, who pioneered the commercial manufacture of morphine and held a virtual monopoly on cocaine. All you have to do is look at how our elected democratic governments are all taking orders from non-elected big pharma think tanks and organizations while blatantly and shamefully peddling their experimental gene therapy quackcine.
Oh my god! It is not, the mRNA vaccine is not gene therapy. Jacob Aces says, I hate this video so much, I think I would hate it even more if I knew about science.
And you can easily understand the immense power this cartel has obtained since the days of Coke. Which brings us from Deutschland to France, and perhaps an even bigger fraud, Louis Pasteur.
Give me raw milk or give me death! Fuck you, Pasteur!
Pan is known symbolically as the trickster god, and also the god of panic and the nature of the human psyche.
Wagrode says, did this guy not take high school bio? Is he a dropout? Because I could swear we looked at some large bacteria cells in high school.
Pan.
You probably did. We looked at bacteria in high school, too.
Pandemics have been scapegoats, or rather scapegoats, since ancient times, used to blame and suppress upheavals, to control starvation situations, cover up military slaughters of innocent civilians in warfare, and to expel or quarantine political threats, troublemakers, and undesirables. You can see this same old tired, fear-based emotional con game being played out today on awakened people, being labeled anti-vaxxers, health threats to the general society.
Get vaccinated, you dumb fuck. Muddy says, my friend hasn't watched the video yet, but he says the title already makes me hurt. We'll watch it after work, because I don't want my brain cells dying before. Mike Max says, pan is bread in Spanish, so... Okay.
And excluded from public participation without their quackcine passports.
Bright Rays of Red says, I need to be more pissed off. Let's do an anti-environmentalist theory next. I want to test my patience.
And the same thing was going on in Pasteur's day as well. The French were at war with Germany, and in order to garner public support, the French government hired Pasteur, just like Bismarck did with Coke, to blame the Germans for a smallpox epidemic and justify invading and killing them so it didn't spread to France, and to justify killing civilians in the process.
Those weapons of mass destruction got to be somewhere. Nope, no weapons over there. Maybe under here.
Unfortunately, Pasteur already knew from the works of his contemporaries, like Claude Bernard, Antoine Béchamp, and Max von Pettenkofer, that bacteria cannot and do not cause disease in living organisms. So he came up with the idea of a virus. There must be tiny invisible microscopic particles that cannot be seen under the microscope that are causing the disease, not the bacteria themselves.
You can see viruses. We have pictures.
Perhaps emitted by the bacteria.
Alright, I'm going to start skipping ahead again.
It's very hard to debunk a theory about something you cannot. Some sexually promiscuous people who have herpes or genital warts have unprotected sex with a dozen partners, and only a few of those partners break out with their own symptoms, and the other 10 walk away with a smile on their face. Why don't they all catch it?
Because diseases aren't perfectly communicable? Because something is infectious does not mean it's always 100% chance of infection upon contact. What? Chrysia says, the etymology of pandemic doesn't come from the god Pan, it comes from the Greek word pan, meaning all.
Nobody asks why it is that the 4th family member is totally fine and healthy, while the other 3 seem to get sick together. Why isn't the entire family sick in every single case? I mean, isn't that why people are standing 6 feet apart and wearing diapers over their faces? I think this guy knows the answer. And more importantly, why is it that some of the kids who attend a chickenpox party do break out with pox themselves shortly after? Why is it that some of the sexual partners do break out with some kind of herpes or warts after...
Oh, now he has to explain why communicability does in fact exist. It's because germ theory is real. 74 Quinn 74 says pregnancy is like 50-50, therefore pregnancy is not real. I think it's actually lower than that. Kirthan says, these people who call masks diapers must be giving their kids really shitty diapers.
After sex with a person expressing that dis-ease themselves. And why is it that 3 out of 4 family members all do seem to get sick together? Remember, there is only one disease, toxemia, either from environmental or improper food beverage intake, pharmaceutical poisons, or from lack of oxygen and high acidity in the blood due to poor diet, major mental stress, and lack of exercise and improper shallow breathing. And that's what happens in the cases of these families. And
then why do different conditions have different symptoms? If it's all the same exact thing, why are the symptoms different for different diseases?
There are too many examples to list, but the families share the same environmental toxins, products, crappy acidic nutrient-devoid diets, and similar stress causes, often from each other. But one of the family members is doing something differently, is less stressed in their nature, eats raw, uncooked foods more often, drinks bottled water.
They're a raw food person.
Uses less toxic hygiene skin and shower products, or eats foods and snacks that don't touch toxic dish detergent, plate, and glass residue. Doesn't eat sugar and chemical-filled junk food and candy, or drink acidic, sugar-filled...
Muddy says in here you can buy a stain for something that doesn't exist. Vitroview gram stain kit for slide smear, $79.
Beverages. Doesn't take pharma products, isn't home as much as the others. You get the idea. They can start their detox at the exact same time. Well, why do the menstrual cycles of groups of women who live together and work together all suddenly change cycles and match up together perfectly? Why does one person start laughing uncontrollably on a bus and suddenly the entire bus is laughing hysterically?
Those things are completely different. Oh, God. Variegated says, both me and my brother were exposed to chickenpox at a young age several times and neither of us got it. Do we have a natural immunity, and what is that exactly? Now I'm curious. We both grew up poor, so I don't see how having access to water bottles or fancy foods made us more immune.
Is there a physical particle called laughter that is contagious? Or is there an invisible
mirror neurons
energy wave of a fire? Was a very real death spike increase in many countries that was statistically used to justify the worldwide lockdowns being used politically for furthering Agenda 21 and the Great Reset.
In London, they used the recovery study, was a special English program. They used this high dosage of hydroxychloroquine. And of course, doctors noticed it after a while. And then the studies were stopped. The studies were all stopped.
He's going to bat for hydroxychloroquine too because Trump.
Beware the false.
Chrysia says menstrual sinking is a myth.
Prophets out there pushing their lethal pharmaceutical anti-malarial drugs in the wrong doses as the cure or prevention for something that doesn't exist.
Oh no, he's actually saying it's not real. That's good.
And doesn't cause disease. There is nothing to prevent or protect against. Viruses are dead cell debris.
No, they're not. All right. I'm done with this guy. That sucked. That sucked a lot. Arthur is apparently having its 25th and final season next year. I used to love that show as a kid. I'll have to watch the final episode if they have an actual finale. Just for nostalgic purposes. They're still making Arthur? Yeah, some years ago they had an episode where Mr. Ratburn, the teacher, got married and a bunch of chuds were mad because he married a dude. Check the bingo card. No one's gotten bingo yet still. I don't know if we got anything. Probably forced sterilization, population control is a motive with his anti-vax shit. What the fuck did we just watch? Who knows? Oh yeah, talked about the whole Louis Pasteur thing. I'll count that. Honestly, after seeing that episode and looking back on old episodes, that makes sense. I agree. I don't think it's shocking that Arthur's teacher's gay, or bi, or whatever. Muddy says, if I need to use my demon powers to take a walk inside his brain, I must know what he thinks. I'll be sure to wear a mask so I don't catch the shit idiot brain fungus. Oh yeah, was Pasteur in the 20th century? Because then that doesn't count. Bright Rays of Red tries to get me to say a thing that I'm not going to say because he can't convince me to do that with bits. Pasteur was 1800s. Okay, no, that counts then. Okay, let's check out this person. I think this person thinks... This person thinks Tom Hanks is a secret diddler. So let's see their evidence, air quotes. Mike Mack says, remember Crowder was the brain. Oh, don't remind me of that. I think it was only for like one season.
Hey, what's happening? It's Bill Smith.
And there's a rumor going around on Twitter that Tom Hanks is part of the mind control sex slave perpetrator network. So this woman...
You know, that thing that exists.
Specifically has come out with some accusations on Twitter. No one has said anything about her. No.
One sec. I don't even see your previous highlighted message. Hold on, let me double check though. Yeah, I don't see one. If you type it again, I'll read it.
No one's taken her offline. She's still saying the same stuff. She's been saying it for 6 months. But just recently, there was a post that got about 1,500 retweets. So I imagine if you haven't seen this, you're going to see it soon. I figured I'd cover it while I have some time. So Sarah Ruth Ashcraft, her handle is @SarahAshcraft, says, "This is me at 13, the age I was when..."
One sec. It's a link, so I gotta check it.
They're all covered with filthy germs, aren't they, Smithers?
Why, what do you mean, sir?
Freemasons run the country!
Variegated, thanks for gifting a sub and a hydrate.
And @Tom Hanks purchased me from my father for sex as a dissociated mind-controlled doll. I wonder how much he paid. I wonder how much money my father made for breaking my mind and selling my child body throughout my life. Will I ever get to know?
Oh yeah, that sounds like a mental illness thing. That's sad.
That's her. Got almost 1,500 retweets, almost 1,500 likes, bunch of comments.
Either that or she's a conspiracy theorist that's just making shit up because she thinks it will reveal the actual truth. Either way, not great. Wagrode says, is it fair to be worried that Q followers are obsessed with pedos when so much of right-wing rhetoric ends up being projection? Yes. Yes, it is.
This is a huge thread, man. There's a lot more here than just this. If it was just this, I wouldn't even think twice. I would just pass it over, but a lot more stuff caught my eye. Now, I don't think many people know about Tom Hanks. He's not exactly a target of investigation for many people. That's kind of why I wanted to cover him. He's kind of an enigma. I think he does a good job of staying out of the limelight, but here he is getting the Medal of Freedom from none other than Barack Obama. Now, he's a central celebrity, core to the Democratic Party and the deep state at large. This session right now, I'm going to go off on a tangent, but I've read some reports that say that blue wave that we were supposed to be getting is a gigantic threat right now. That blue wave may not happen. And they said that millennials, only like 1 in 4 millennials say that they're going to vote.
This is posted in 2019, so he was wrong. Wagrode says, oh, no, already read that one, sorry.
And the Democrats rely on young, stupid people and immigrants. So if they can't get the young, stupid people to vote for them, it looks like they're starting to lose their stranglehold on minority groups. They have to go after immigrants. So that's what you're seeing.
Yeah, Trump got like a whole 12% of the black vote. What a tsunami of minority support.
So Tom Hanks is part of this drive with Michael Obama, and they're going to try to get voter registration and up.
Oh, look, it's the whole transphobia thing too. Lovely.
Their turnout for November. I don't think they're going to have much of a chance there. Nobody cares about midterm elections, really, you know? So we'll see what happens. I'm just showing...
This is posted in 2019, so maybe it's a post from even earlier, from like 2018, before the midterms. Kind of sounds like it.
Showing you that Tom Hanks is part of the system. He's part of the establishment. He's an establishment celebrity guy. Closely tied in with the Obamas. He's political, okay? Now, it got me thinking about this movie I used to watch when I was a kid. Okay, the movie's called Big. It's from 1988. It's a really good movie. He plays on that giant piano. I mean, everybody has seen this movie, but it never really struck me weird until I came back and I looked at it from a different perspective.
A crazy perspective is going to be my guess. Although, how do I put this? Parts of that movie haven't aged well. Tom Hanks in that movie. If you haven't seen the movie Big is a movie about magical realism in which a child, a teen, a preteen boy is through a Zoltar machine. He's like, I wish I was big because he's short, I think is the instigating incident. He's like short and he wants to be big. So he asks this magical Zoltar machine, which is like a fortune telling machine thing that has magic powers. He's like, I want to be big. So he wakes up the next day and he's adult Tom Hanks, magical realism, whatever. So he leaves home. I think he goes to like New York. It's been a long time since I've seen this movie. And he gets a job at a toy company, and he surprisingly does very well at the toy company. He ends up finding a girlfriend who is an adult. And they sleep together in the movie. Even though this is basically like a 12-year-old in the mind of an adult. A lot of 80s movies have not aged well with their sexual politics. That's one of them. Don't get me started on Revenge of the Nerds and the rape scene at the end of that movie. Because yikes. What's the point I'm trying to make? I don't know. Big's a weird movie, but it's a good movie. 13 going on 30. That's a good point. Okay. Imagine if in the movie 13 going on 30, the main character, in the opening scenes of 13 going on 30, which is a similar kid in an adult body movie with slightly different details. At the beginning of that movie, she gets the opportunity, I suppose, to sleep with her adult boyfriend, because she's in the body of her adult self. They don't do that in the movie because I think they recognize that's creepy. That's basically that guy unknowingly sleeping with a, 13-year-old. So they don't do that. But Big did that. One Speedy Yoshi says, what about the best movie romance of all time, Blank Check? We don't talk about Blank Check in this house, okay? Get that Macintosh shit out of here. I don't want to hear about the pedophile in the Disney movie.
The perspective of 2018 and all this pedophilia stuff. Now, this is the interesting part, okay?
Did they do it because it was reverse sexist? It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't. I think, let's say Big happened in the 80s, but it was a girl becoming a woman instead of a boy becoming a man. I don't think they would do that joke. The sexuality of, pubescent or prepubescent boys is treated very differently than girls, and it's creepy as shit. You see this reflected in, whenever there's stories of, a female teacher who assaults or, there's, statutory rape involving a male student, and idiots will make jokes like, oh, I wish my teacher had done that as a kid. No. No. Do not treat this like that, you sick fuck. CJ Oracle, thanks for 11 months, says, lost a hard-fought case today, but it felt like I gave it my all. My client really appreciated me. Now it's time to awful logic to be mocked. Hey, you gave it your best. That's all you can do. As long as you were a, what's the word? As long as you were a zealous advocate for your client, that's all you can ask for. You did your job.
A 13-year-old boy becomes an adult overnight. I mean, don't you think that's a little that right there? It was a good movie. I didn't think anything of it at the time. But I'm just saying that's the whole premise of the movie. Is a 13-year-old boy becomes adult. And there's this weird sex stuff where he's got the body of an adult, but he's still a 13-year-old boy. And I remember him finding that girl. That girl liked him a lot and was trying to mess around. And he wasn't comfortable with it. They were sleeping in bunk beds. So it explored the mindset of a 13-year-old inside of adult situations. So here's the storyline from IMDb. Yada yada yada. It says he wakes up the next morning in an adult's body, but he still has the same personality. With the help of his best friend Billy, Josh learns how to act like a grown-up. But as he gets a girlfriend and a fun job, he doesn't want to be a kid again. Will Josh stay big or become a 13-year-old boy again? I just like it, looking back on it, it seems odd, right? It seems odd. Now, I've spent some time on Tom Hanks's personal Twitter account. I think he's like he's an uninteresting, boring loser.
Yet you decided to make a 20-minute video about him. Interesting. Bright Rays of Red with 30 bits says, Weird Science was also weird. What even were the 80s? A Reagan-filled nightmare. Muddy says, do people named Billy actually exist in real life? Probably not as commonly anymore, but yeah.
He's just, I know 12-year-old kids that are more interesting than him.
One Speedy Yoshi says, a Twitch streamer I subscribed to did a movie reviewing of Revenge of the Nerds, and I was like, oh, I keep hearing about this movie. I read about it on Wikipedia. Oh, no. Yeah. There are a decent number of 80s movies that treat, like, rape and assault as jokes, or don't realize that they're depicting rape or assault. I don't know if anyone here hasn't seen Revenge of the Nerds or heard about it. Let me talk about it real quick. Revenge of the Nerds is an 80s movie, an 80s college movie, where there's jocks, and there's nerds, and they're in, like, a rivalry, whatever. The nerds are very stereotypical 80s nerds. They go on hijinks and stuff throughout the movie. There is a main nerd, whose name I forget, who has a crush on, like, a cheerleader, sorority girl, hot chick in the movie, right? And at the end of the movie, there's, like, a carnival or fair or something, and that cheerleader's boyfriend, who was one of the jocks, was wearing, like, a knockoff Darth Vader costume, and he took it off. And the girl was like, oh, I'll meet you in the, like, haunted house or whatever. So the nerd puts on the Darth Vader costume and meets up with the girl, and she thinks it's her boyfriend, and he sleeps with her with the Darth Vader thing on, which is rape! But the movie doesn't seem to realize it's rape, that he's pretending to be the boyfriend and he fucks her. And then he reveals, he, like, takes off the mask, and she's fine with it. She's like, oh my god, you're so good. You're so good in bed. I love that you just assaulted me. And even worse, she's like, how did you get so good at that? And he's like, well, nerds think about sex a lot, so that makes us good at it. And it's like, that doesn't even make sense. That's not how you get good at sex. You don't get good at sex by thinking about it. You get good at sex by having sex with consensual partners. So yeah, that's how a wacky 80s comedy ended with one of the main character arcs is he commits a rape. Mike Mack says, that's kind of sus, what he recently said. Speedy Yoshi says, during this, Lewis, who has fallen in love with Betty, steals Stan's costume and tricks Betty into engaging in sexual intercourse with him, hooking up with her. Though surprised when Lewis reveals his identity, she admits he was wonderful. End quote. I assume that's from the Wikipedia. Muddy says, yikes. Yikes is right. There's more than a sequel. There's like 4 Revenge of the Nerds movies.
I
think there's one where they go to Hawaii.
Just has nothing interesting in his life. That's just my personal opinion of him. Here he is with a t-shirt, it's the cobblestone of all the Democratic talking points. All the people, all the poor displaced ideologies all in one big bucket, right? So I don't even...
Science is real is, by the way, the top thing on there, and apparently that's controversial to this guy.
Want to really read what he's got on his t-shirt? I don't agree with it.
Okay, the statements that he disagrees with are, Science is real. Black Lives Matter, which they do, by the way. No human is illegal. Also agree. Love is love. Women's rights are human rights. And kindness is everything. And he disagrees with all these statements.
It's a good message, but I know what they all mean, man.
What do they mean?
I know what they all mean.
What do they mean? I think they mean literally what they say.
Okay, I say he's boring and uninteresting and a loser because his entire, like, persona online on social media, the way that he interacts with, like, general people in the public is not by talking about sports or something that you know about as a human being. He's got this, like, fetish where he likes to take...
It's not what fetish means. Tom Hanks does this, and I only know this because of conspiracy theorists. I don't follow Tom Hanks, to my knowledge. I guess I might on Twitter or something, but I don't think I've ever seen any of his posts on my feed. He must not tweet very often if he does, if I follow him. Tom Hanks does this thing where if he's walking around in public anywhere and he sees, like, a missing shoe or a single glove that's gone missing or, like, a hat laying around, he'll take pictures of them. He's fascinated with photographing lost items of clothing, and I don't know why. That's different, but, like, it's not nefarious. He's also really into typewriters. Like, he collects antique typewriters. That's quirky, but it's not evil.
Pictures of lost gloves and shoes. Like, essentially garbage on the street. And maybe this is, like, some, like, art house thing that he's into, but to me it just looks like a really sad attempt to connect with people. But it's not just once or twice, you know.
Yes, the sad millionaire who's loved by basically everyone. How sad.
There's a bunch of them. Like, there's a missing shoe, a missing left foot flop. Oh, it's going to be a long hot summer for someone. Hanks. Why is that interesting enough for 1.3
Welcome back,
people,
new here to comment.
1,300 people to retweet that? It just doesn't make any sense to me. This is how he interacts, though, with people. Look, he even...
Apparently it works. He got 13,000 retweets. Picture of your bird, because you need cleansing. What a lovely burb.
He's got... There's a watermark on this picture.
He also produced the sperm cell that became the man who said white boy summer. Oh no, is that true?
2016 Tom Hanks.
Did Tom Hanks' son start white boy summer?
He wants art house, I don't know.
Chet Hanks. Tom Hanks' son's name is Chet? Ew.
What the deal is, man. He just takes a loser picture. There's another one. Missing right glove. Missing glove. Here's him with a shadow. It's just the most uninteresting stuff you could ever imagine.
Then don't watch his feed. That's fine. I don't find it interesting either, but I also don't spend my time scrolling through it going like, where's the evidence? Where's the evidence of the deep state?
There's another missing glove. Missing glove. Could you imagine having nothing in your life so much that you're going to walk around and look for missing gloves and shoes?
Okay, I think Tom Hanks just likes to go on walks around town, which is fine. Tom Hanks is like a beloved celebrity with more money than he could ever do anything with a family that loves him. I think he's fine. I think he just has a weird hobby that you don't like, and you don't have to like it, but, like, he's not pathetic just because you don't like his hobby.
On the street to take a picture of. Like, is that how you're going to be normal? That doesn't make any sense to me. He's got a thing for, like, these tiny little cars, too. So the only time you'll see him posing
Was
in
that
real
his
life is with
son?
these tiny little cars. Or maybe a passerby. He's a weirdo.
Oh, it's the David S. Pumpkins! He has the David S. Pumpkins outfit. That's great. David S. Pumpkins. It's a thing.
Oh, man. He's a weirdo, an uninteresting weirdo.
David S. Pumpkins is legitimately one of the funniest sketches Saturday Night Live has ever done. And it's the dumbest.
There's another glove.
I think in the entire, 40-year history of Saturday Night Live, there's maybe 10 Saturday Night Live sketches that I like. And that one's good.
Missing glove. Another little car. So this is the one that people latched onto. So those people have been...
Mike Mack says, so you hate that his not doing the thing that you think he does.
Swirling this thing around. There's a red shoe, right? A red child shoe. Why is the baby so fussy? Here's why. Cold out there. Hanks. You're a loser, dude. What a loser. You're just a loser. Why is this something that you would do? Here's another glove.
He should take up a normal hobby like trolling people's social media feeds to try and find proof of pedophilia. That's a very cool hobby.
Skull. There's another glove, and another glove, and a missing tie, and another glove, and another glove. So this is like what he's known for, right? You're an internationally known... This guy is an internationally known actor. Celebrity. And this is how he chooses to engage with the world. I just find it weird, awkward, just loserdom. You could think of anything better to do than this, and it makes it look really weird. So I've seen 2 or 3 pictures of him at this same spot by this park. And maybe, I don't know where this is at. I've seen the same fence. This is where the shoe was at. There's a Mickey Mouse hat. I send you to the park and you lose her hat from Disney World. Honestly. Hanks.
I think he just, and based on the captions, I don't particularly get this, but if this is what he likes to do, that's fine. Pyromancer says, old pictures of my cats. Cute. It seems like Tom Hanks, for some reason, and there's nothing wrong with this, I think Tom Hanks sees gloves or shoes or hats laying around, and his brain goes, in sort of a wholesome boomer way, goes, I wonder how that got there. And then he, has some sort of, imagination thing where he tries to imagine the reaction once they realize, uh-oh, I lost my kid's shoe or hat or whatever. It's just a weird, wholesome, benign hobby. It's fine. I don't care.
There's all these kids hanging out there. I don't know, man. It just seems weird. There's a lot of weird stuff. Okay, now, as of 1st of June 2017, rats. Lost my keys. Seen my keys? Anyone? Rats. Hanks. Starts and ends with rats. And losing some keys.
KC10 Crew Chief, thanks for subscribing with
Tom
Prime.
Hanks lost his keys.
And not Brute Slayer, thanks for following.
Locksmith, it just brings up rats a couple times in there. 1st of June 2017. What was happening a year ago? What was happening a year ago in Hollywood? Another missing glove. Lost cup.
Oh, a fidget spinner.
Just weird stuff, man. This guy's just a weirdo.
Hey, Daddy,
I don't know why you would base an entire...
Mike says, so what's worse, Tom being a boomer or a pedo?
Lost shoes, lost
He's
gloves.
not a pedo, to my knowledge.
Okay, now this post made me think that Tom Cruise is in the occult, and I'll show you another picture here.
Hanks. I assume he means Tom Hanks.
In a second.
Oh, Tom Hanks has been married to his wife for 30 years. That's pretty sweet. That's always nice when I hear that. There's so many celebrities that kind of bounce from marriage to marriage. It's nice when you see, a couple that's been together. Because I'm sure, being a celebrity in Hollywood is probably really hard on relationships just because it's, such a weird situation. So it's always nice when they stay together.
Of him as a Freemason, doing the Freemason pose, but...
Oh, that's Freemasons on the bingo card. Does no one has bingo yet still, huh?
"30 years on April 30th, 88 to 18 magic numbers, Hanks and Rita Wilson. Standing next to a cardboard cutout of himself. Magic numbers. I don't know, man. Maybe some of this stuff is a reach.
Daddy Sume, I said hi when you showed up. Fuck you. Muddy says, I remember seeing a whole ass pair of long pants in a toilet once in 8th grade and was like, holy fuck, for the rest of the day. Does that make me just as pathetic as Tom? I wish I could be as pathetic as Tom Cruise. Or Tom Hanks. Now I did it. Can I go through what we have marked off? I can, yes. Word salad, aliens, population or forced sterilization as motive, the deep state, study from the 18th or 19th century, satanic ritual child abuse, Baja Blasts, Illuminati Freemasons, and that's not how science works. Mike Mack says, Taylor Swift collect boyfriend like Thanos collect stones. Did you just get here from like 2014? That seems like a very old joke. Guys, did you know that Taylor Swift writes a lot of songs about her breakups? OMG. Also, oh my god, guys, did you know Amy Winehouse is probably addicted to drugs? That's crazy.
Here's a picture of a kid. That is a child, right? Joseph Luca, I'm sorry. Music from Joseph Luca Solari. Peter's Henry to My Kip Son. Bosom Buddies Forever. Hanks. No idea, man. I'm missing something there.
Bosom Buddies was a show he was on. I assume it's music done by perhaps one of his co-stars from the show Bosom Buddies, and that's maybe the album cover. Muddy says, Mans is proof of time travel. I don't know what that means.
Okay, so, like...
not only an old-ass joke, but she's been with the same dude since 2016. That is an out-of-date joke, then.
Like I said, I'm not the only one that's on this. Other people online have found this thing. Here's an actual Slave 7 posting on this on Tom Hanks' Instagram. Here he is with another missing shoe. How does that get 134,000 likes?
I mean, he probably has millions of followers. It's just kind of how it works. Blackwing Hecty says, last of my bits, but I think that guy might be Tom Cruise, member of the Church of Scientology, because he's acting in bad faith. Someone else made the exact same joke the other day about Tom Cruise. Was that you? Are you recycling material?
I mean, is that real? Did 134,000 people really like that? Okay, down here, though, people are on this guy. There's only this many comments. So it makes me think that these likes are juiced. He only has this many comments, or just a few, and they didn't even get rid of the bad ones, you know? Run as fast as you can, we can catch you. You're the pedophile man. Time is ticking, punk bitch. You may have lots of people, but there is a shift happening on planet Earth. You sick F. You're F.
So many stupid conspiracy theorists.
Tell them what the left shoe of a child really means, at Tom Hanks.
Means a kid lost their left shoe?
So, I mean, this is...
Also, that's a right shoe, so... That's weird.
Starting to heat up. You know, there's more here. I'm sure there's more here. Here is a picture of Tom Hanks doing the Freemasons pose. The pose is called the Hand of Fidelity.
Anytime you do this, even though that's a very common pose for photographs, up to and including Napoleon... Clearly, he's an Illuminati Freemason.
Right? That's what he's doing there. All good. Doesn't mean anything. You know, it doesn't mean anything. I'm just kind of putting this all out there so you can make up your own mind.
I'm just asking questions. Uh-huh.
You can do some research on your own. Sarah Ashcraft, excuse me. She's the one that brought this all up. She's got 30,000 followers, no kidding. Wow. Now, it turns out she might know her stuff, too. I've covered the Chester Bennington suicide, murder, whatever you want to call it. But she puts out some actually detailed information about this. So, Sarah says that Chester Bennington was ritually sacrificed by his biological father, John Podesta, during Sacrifice of the Firstborn Males Ritual Week.
E-Tune says, is the Hand of Fidelity new for the list? I have, like, hand symbols on there in a general thing. Okay, he was the lead vocalist of Linkin Park. Who are his parents? His mother was a nurse, his father was a police detective who worked on child sexual abuse cases. So his dad is not John Podesta. Why do they think his dad's John Podesta? Is it because they have some sort of vague, like, similarity in appearance?
Associated with the Dog Days, Sirius the Dog Star, Star of Set, as in Temple of Set. Did you know that? I didn't know that. Now, like I said, I wouldn't have even dug into this except for this Sarah Ruth Ashcraft chick. You know, it's one thing to, like, come out and say something. It's another thing to have a big following.
Yes, because we all know how many followers you have on the internet is indicative of how truthful your claims are.
And have a lot of detailed information about the satanic ritual days. I don't even know this stuff. I don't know about these satanic ritual days.
She's making shit up. Mike Mack says, fuck this guy. Chester was a good person, you piece of shit. Go get a life, you fucking loser.
Here's the ones that happened just in July. So I'm not going to read those off. It's not really positive stuff to go over. Like I said, man, I'm not the only one that thinks this is weird. This just got posted a couple hours ago. It says, this shoe photographed by Tom Hanks is no coincidence. He takes photos of many shoes. Wonder what will happen with them. And here he's talking about a shoe he found lost in Disneyland, but turned into lost and found. All right, man. How do you find so many missing shoes? Isn't that weird? You know how many missing shoes I see on the street? 0.
How often do you go and walk around large cities?
Okay, but then again, I'm not looking for them. And then again, I'm also not a weirdo. So, what's up with Tom Hanks? And what does a picture like this mean? Tom Hanks wearing one red shoe. Okay, so check this out. I don't know if this means anything, but he was in this movie that nobody knows about right around the time he started in that big movie called The Man with One Red Shoe. All right, here it is on IMDb if you want to read through this. It's also on Wikipedia. Okay, The Man with One Red Shoe. Here's the plot. An agent of the United States CIA is arrested in Morocco on drug smuggling charges. The person behind the smuggling operation is CIA Deputy Director, who hopes the resulting scandal will lead to the resignation of CIA Director and get that guy promoted. Weird stuff, right? Like, that's just kind of weird stuff. There's more here. I'm sure other people will report about this more in detail, but Tom Hanks needs to be on your radar, I think. Until next time, this is Bill Smith. Thanks for watching.
What a psycho. He goes on my conspiracy list. I know someone said he was boring. Sorry. Adding this person to my conspiracies list. Already have him. Add this. Add this dude. Muddy says, I don't find random articles of clothes because I don't live near many people. If you live near a bunch of people, you're going to find a bunch of stuff. Kirthan says, people throw shoes up on power lines around here all the time, but I'm told that's for a different reason than lost shoes. I guess I don't know what that means. Was there spurious symbology in this vid? The hand symbol thing. So yeah, let's say spurious symbology is evidence. I don't know if that was the last one you needed for bingo. Cool. Post me a link to your card and we will see if you won bingo, because I'm about to end the stream. So hopefully you did and we can... Word salad. Did we get word salad? We did? Okay. Word salad, spurious symbology, free space aliens, Baja Blast, you win! Hooray. Okay, I will write your name down for a bingo win. Give me a moment to open up my list. Consider yourself listed. Okay, who are we going to raid?
Like, that's how he knows that you can only come 5 times in a...
$27 a stream? Who's $27? $27.
Like, that's a different thing, right? There is actually matter.
Yeah, sure.
Farts, right? But
I'm
we're
not
gonna
familiar
talk
with
about
this
that,
person,
right?
but we can rate.
Particles, yeah.
Alright, have a good night, everyone. I gotta go exercise so Baja and I can play Stardew before bed. Because I miss her very much. Have a good evening, everyone. I'll be back tomorrow for some kind of stream. So, join me for that. I love you all. Have a great night.